And we're now officially live. Welcome to another Dice Scum Live. Name's Adam, and I am completely unfamiliar with Rift other than it is the Ready Player One of the RPG world, to the point where in the Discord, they actually have a legal notice where they punish the hell out of people who try to stat things from other settings. As far as I know. That's all I know. That and mega damage.
I'm Impcit, and I just like the crazy, fucked up lore that's in this book.
The only other thing I know is that the 80s art style looked really cool because I'm a fan of watercolors and they had a lot of skulls. A shitload of skulls. A horrendous amount of skulls.
More or less than 40k.
Um, Here's the thing. I think it's more because I don't remember there's a few vehicles I think that had skull motifs, but not to the degree I saw. I'll also say this. I'm a fan of the cover. There's a kind of creativity to it.
As I've said, Rifts is just the 80s. It is everything that was in fiction, fantasy, science fiction from the 1980s.
Okay, so it's a Klein work. It's Rob Klein. You go to the store to provide commodities as you consume newest product. That is all I know. And it's going to be apparently a rabbit hole according to Jimmy Jones. By the way, hello there, Steven. I sorry you came in a little early, but yeah, my fear and anticipation is a bit high too. I'm predicting drug nightmare. I'm predicting drug nightmare.
We do have to issue the warning on the next page.
Warning, violence in the supernatural. The fictional world of Rifts, trademarked, is violent, alien, and deadly. It is an exotic realm where magic is real, demonic creatures and monsters stalk humans, and weird science, psychic abilities, ancient gods, supernatural horrors, and alien beings are commonplace. Some parents may find the violence, magic, and supernatural elements of the game inappropriate for young readers and players. We suggest parental discretion. Please note that none of us at Palladium Books, trademarked, condone or encourage the occult, the practice of magic, the use of drugs, or violence. I'm gonna
As I
call
said,
bullshit on the last part.
as I said, 80s, including the Satanic Panic.
So, okay, I can already tell you this just from this one page here, even though it's not the most formatted page that I've ever seen in the world. This covers better everything that Derek Deshaw wishes he could write, whereas other people know him Venger Satanis. This is what he wishes Chult was already, just from this one page, because it is more tied to the 80s than anything he's ever dumped out of his fucking skull. Oh boy.
Especially,
Hmm?
especially because I'm pretty sure Palladium started in the 80s.
Oh yeah,
I think Rifts
Palladium
was
has a
90s.
long Palladium has a long reputation. I don't remember any of their real works at the time because again, I'm not familiar with Palladium. You can ask me about West End. I know that a lot better. But I think with Palladium, if I recall correctly, they also used to do like table systems, like a lot of table-based RPG systems, which were kind of flowcharty. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong because the 80s also had a lot of RPGs that worked like a flowchart. So let's see what the contents give us. There's the world overview, our American homeland, North America. Okay, so it's just North America. Apparently, there's also an African setting, but that's basically just let's insert witch doctors from Scooby Doo.
Well, it mostly takes place in North America. That's where most of the setting has been written about. However, they've gone all over the world.
One
They've done a
word,
few.
Megaverse. One word. No, not one word. One title. Ready Player One. That's all I kind of know about the setting is that it's mostly used by gremlins who want to do their weird death battles between settings. I
There's
think that the Enclave soldier with the vertibird can, I dare say, slaughter Megatron. Well, let's use Rift and see who actually has the way of it, old man.
I believe there's two books for South America, two for China, one for Japan, one for England. 2 for Germany, 2 for
Look,
Russia.
look, all I'm saying is that I can already kind of.
There's a bunch.
All I know is that this is the book where you can have Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles team up with Optimus Prime, a a new Californian Republic soldier in a power armor, and Robert Kopp as they fight the, I don't know, cavity creeps and Krang. That's
I'm
all
gonna
I
be
know.
honest. That does sound fun.
I don't know. I'm making a bit of fun because it's kind of the pop culture garbage phenomenon we're seeing now. But it's kind of freed from that since it's not relying on it. Oh, hey, I was right. This is the setting that has mega damage, which I think just means you take so much you just die.
The way it works is basically there's this structural damage thing, which is armor. I believe if you chip at that or you break at that, you deal hit point damage. With mega damage, it's about 100 times, or 1 point of mega damage is 100 of the standard damage. And if you don't have any armor or protection against mega damage, yeah, it's just gonna kill you. It's just gonna either flatten you, eviscerate you, turn you into ash.
The scaling
It's gonna
seems kind
destroy.
of ridiculous, but then I think, if I remember right, no, West End actually has something kind of similar. West End Star Wars, I think it had something kind of similar where you could do the way it worked was you had your normal personal weapon damage and then you had what was called vehicle damage. Because you might be able to survive getting shot with a blaster, you're probably not going to survive getting hit by an Imperial Star Destroyer's bombing run.
It's a little bit different in that punches can be mega damage.
Okay, I'm already seeing how someone can actually stat Saitama from One Punch Man, and it's very embarrassing and kind of
You
strange.
actually probably could.
All right, so the opener, okay, it's just kind of standard. Let's throw stuff at the wall and see where it sticks. There's the skull guys. That's another thing I know.
Also pay attention to the guy with fire hair, the dog mutant, the guy with the bowler hat, um, some sort of alien that I feel like is from Star Wars, but I don't
Oh,
know.
Trandoshan with the numbers filed off.
Uh, Trandoshan with like a beak.
I kind of like how you just have what was his name, Mugshot from Sly Cooper. It's nice to know that he had work prior to his role in that game. Also, I'm kind of surprised this bowler hat fellow wasn't the original inspiration for the hit Cringe Kids of Anonymous back in the day, because it just has that same cursed energy as the Guy Fawkes mask. Just same energy. The setting. It is 100 years in the future. Humankind has enjoyed a golden age of peace, prosperity, and advancement. We've conquered most diseases, bottled the fountain of youth, extended our lifespan to over 200, and our toys are nano-friendly in the genetic code. Our cities look like something out of science fiction novel, complete with robots, androids, and so on. And then it all comes to a stop. Imagine the end of the world. The movie Day After Tomorrow. Okay, so 3 gigantic hurricanes that
I
instantly freeze you because that is how they work.
I would say so it says the movie Day After Tomorrow meets Nightmare on Elm Street. I'd say Day After Tomorrow meets Nightmare on Elm Street meets Doom meets Mad Max
That's just
meets
a fucking warp storm from 40K.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
That's just a warp storm, baby. Megaverse is actually the linked RPG by Palladium. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm a little more
it
familiar with West End. I've never touched anything Palladium based.
it's what they
Mainly
call
because
for.
every time people try to recommend me like Rifts or Savage Worlds, they kind of do it in a way that accidentally makes me less interested. You ever have that happen where someone's like, "Oh, this is really cool," but as they explain it in your head, you're kind of going, "This is lamer than I thought," or "Wow, I kind of don't want to look at it."
Yeah,
I'm not saying Rifts is lame. I'm just saying that that's a reason why I kind of didn't get around to this until now.
so that Megaverse thing is it's their reason. It's Palladium's. way to have you be able to take characters from a different setting and put them into another one. So if you want to, there's a superhero setting, you could send your superheroes to a fantasy land, or send your zombie hunters into rifts.
You know, the more you explain this, the more it kind of reminds me of there's an adventure in Dungeons and Dragons known as Castle Greyhawk. It's a traditional long dungeon run. It reminds me of one of the reasons why Castle Greyhawk was written. At its heart, it was a parody making fun of the fun, almost meta commentary on itself. The whole point was it was making fun of these mega dungeons, and it was also making fun of the little 80s nods that it was prone to making. So anyway, the warp storm happens, and in addition to the mass destruction and total chaos, lines of blue energy appear across the world. Where two or more lines meet, tears and it's a fucking warp storm. It's a literal warp storm, actually. This is just the age of strife. Okay, so I've already thought of something you can do for rifts, unironically, that I know it goes against it because of copyright, but if you ever wanted to do like Age of Strife Old Night period Terra, this kind of
Hmm.
feels like the right book to use.
Think about it, maybe. However, there is an RPG that they have. It's Rifts, Chaos Earth, which is during the apocalypse. Might be a bit better
Nope,
because the
because
thing is,
the Age of Strife was not during the apocalypse. That would be if
because
you
the thing
wanted to
is,
do during the opening of the Age of Strife, where everything fell apart.
things have kind of settled, as it says. It's been 300 years. Things have kind of
You say that,
stabilized.
but you are
I mean,
aware
it's
that the situation on Terra was relatively stable until the Emperor revealed himself, right?
yeah, but stable in the sense of you're not being ruled by eugenicists and mad psychic.
What are you talking about? The American hives in High Brazil were fine.
Well,
High
we
Brazil
don't know.
actually was still independent, kind of, to a degree. The Emperor just kind of let them join as a client and slowly absorbed them.
Yeah,
I,
still,
I
you're on
know
a
it's unfair. I'm comparing
you're
a
on a
Palladium
dying.
work to Games Workshop. I know it's
I
unfair.
think I think the big thing is different. Terra's dying. Earth
That's
in
because the elves stole all the water, or in reality, they just somehow burned through all the water.
it, it, Rift's Earth, it's kind of okay. I mean,
It's what you call
again,
metastable, which is an actual
yeah.
term. If you don't know what metastable means, is it has the illusions of stability. Like the society is functional, but at any point can completely downfall. So we're at
Well,
a balanced peace. It sounds like.
as they say, imagine each state, province, and country in alien environment. One place may be a beautiful woodland, another is an alien jungle, another is dominated by humanoid insect people, another is filled with dinosaurs.
Okay, so it's
Or,
just literally whatever the book.
um, uh,
I'm
some land shift and change daily, others straddle between two and three realities. At one location, people thrive, locked away in a massive fortified city of technology. Robots and black armored sentinels patrol its streets and strike down anything that isn't human.
This is just the fucking Age of Strife.
It kind of, think about it. Yeah, at another location is a city of magic and wonder. I
This
guess
is
that
just the
is
Age of fucking Strife,
well. I guess there's another big difference.
or the Chaos Wastes in fantasy.
Magic doesn't come from the hell dimension.
Shows what you know.
As dragons and 100 different alien races live in harmony with human beings. That's another difference from Age of Strife. Um,
Well, yeah,
I'm
because
sure this.
no, this is the Age of Strife where in this timeline the alien allies of the Terran Empire don't backstab them completely.
See,
If you're wondering,
elsewhere.
that's kind of why the Imperium hates Xenos. There were alien allies during the Terran and Martian Empire period during the Dark Age of technology. They had a habit of backstabbing them because, well, everything's going to shit, so it's kind of look out for number one.
Um,
Oh hi,
elsewhere, vast
Chi
reach.
Town and Taldir. Wait, Taldir from the Dawn of War games.
No,
I know who she is.
I think he means Tolkien, the magic place in the game.
Okay, that's a little bit embarrassing.
But I know it, or
That's a Derekism almost.
it
It kind of is. It feels like something
gets
Derek would
blown
do.
up. It gets blown up. So,
Oh, thank God.
um, some people have come to accept and embrace magic. Some wield superhuman psychic abilities. Other revise on advanced or alien technology. To cope with the harsh environment, humans have rediscovered some of the wonders of the Golden Age, used bionic suits of power armor, giant robot constructs, and drugs.
Okay,
Chemical augmentation.
so what you're saying is I can unironically have the character be a drugged out Salvador Dali who uses his psychic powers to draw surrealist art which attacks people.
Yes, I think the crazy is the character you're thinking of.
I don't know
The
any
guy who gets
what I'm thinking of. Remember,
guy who
this is
gets like
blind.
cybernetic implants and gives him psychic powers and mental illness.
Oh, he doesn't. No, no, no. He takes LSD and then draws the melting clocks which attack people.
Probably could. Probably a mage of
Can
some
you
sort.
have Dr. Seuss who has the ability to open his books? No, not Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, because that's how you're supposed to say his name. Like, and he opens his book and the Cat in the Hat just kind of comes out and beats you to death with an umbrella.
Yeah, I think the summoner would fit.
Okay, I can see the kind of gremlin appeal of this book already. This is the. I think the title actually is perfect for this because the dumbest ideas in your head can work here. Oh, hey, look at that BattleTech level art. Look at that BattleTech
Oh,
art. Oh, that's actually
yeah.
creepy. It's like Mr. Bean, but with a perm. Oh, the longer I look,
This is our point of view character, I guess. Uh, Historian by the name of Aaron Tarn.
that's the point of view character. Oh no. So engage my imagination. Don't be intimidated by this epic scope. It's not really epic. It's more just, hey, you know all the dumb crap you can come up with? You can do it. Although they do have an entire continent, so I'm being a little bit unfair. Pen and
Uh,
papers are something of an enigma to most civilians. You can call them normies, it's fine. You
don't know if
know
this
the
part
only
was
people who would
actually.
play these games would be gremlins.
I don't know if this part was written in the 90s or written with this edition.
It probably is written in the 90s. It has that same kind of energy. I will say this book does kind of feel like a bit of a throwback. It's just the formatting is very Word documenty, if you get what I mean. Like, it's very, I don't know how to
There's not
explain it. Very, very
like
mechanical, very cold and
like
clinical.
yeah, like a modern book, you'd have stuff on the side, a little bit
It would
more of a.
appeal to the crippling ADHD, yes. Yeah, the more I read, the more, like, I've only read a page and I already like this a million times more than Schultz, which makes it completely pointless as a setting because this is the Eldritch Gonzo setting. What's that? You want to be a Mad Max biker as you fist fight using the powers granted to you by Cthulhu? Fuck it, why not?
Yes, I, there's a
Unironically, this is the Chalt setting, but actually good. This is what Chalt wishes it could be. It will never be this. I've only
so
read 9 pages of this and I already have decided that. That's a staff
so
that's a staff member's grandma, probably.
so recollections of Aaron Tarn says, I take it upon myself to capture human history before it's entirely lost. They say there's little
Do you
importance
think
since
she
the planet.
stores her human history behind her fake smile or her nose?
Oh God, I didn't
Seriously,
realize
you
that.
can use that beak to crush the seeds of nuts like a parrot.
Yeah. Um.
That nose is the type of thing that an octopus uses to pry open a clam.
So.
I'm
Uh.
sorry, staff officer's grandma. It's just there's something intrinsically sinister about that face. Just there's something there's something vile to it, you know?
80s art. Um, so it says she remembers that there were 52 United States of America, so we
Oh,
either got
so
Puerto
I guess
Rico and
Puerto Rico, yeah.
BC or well,
Well, actually,
Mexico
there
and
there is a movement to a very limited degree. There's a small movement in some of the northern Mexican states like Sonora and Baja California that would love to join the U.S. because it would be an improvement. It could be that.
um, names of the old empires: Japan, Korea, China, which means Korea reunified. Uh,
I'm not surprised.
Canada, USA. I'm told I'm a fool because few people today read American, or what was once called English, or read at all. Uh, and I'll try to capture our past for the sake of our children and their children, so when the day comes that they ask why, when, how, and who, they'll have at least a few of the answers. Um, ancient history,
Yeah,
world, I
I
will
mean,
leave
there's
to
a
the
lot. So the time before
yeah,
rifts, like I'm just
yeah.
kind
Let's
of
go for that.
so they go into
Um,
details about the modern society.
about there being, not vast wilderness, that there were skyscrapers, there weren't mutants, DBs, cyberknights,
Cities used to
crazies,
house millions of people.
For those of you who have seen the growing cities of Chi-Town, Ironheart, Quebec, the cities resemble those before the Great Cataclysm.
Like I'm just skimming because let's be fair, this is a huge kind of almost a black hole of text.
They apparently say here Argentina was an empire.
That is comical.
On,
That is
well,
absolutely comical.
no, it says here China, Korea, India, and Argentina were just a few of the new empires that rose to stand up among the elder empires
Argentina,
of America, Mexico, Canada, and Europe.
Mexico.
I mean, I think they're using empire differently.
I'm sorry, it's just Argentina. Out of the South American states, of all of the
That
ones
beef.
you could have humanly picked, you went with Argentina. The state that, no
I
offense,
know.
kind of has the highest rate of instability out of all of them. Economically, it's always been
Uh,
one of the shakier ones. It's always either relied heavily on agricultural exports, I should say, or its currency system just constantly melts down. Out of
they should have
every
gone with.
possible state you could have picked down there, Argentina is probably on the fourth.
They
Because
should
let's
have
be
gone
fair,
with.
Brazil.
Oh no, they should have gone with the correct one. Guyana.
Guyana is also pretty fucking hilarious. I would have gone with Paraguay though. To be honest, if you're gonna have a crazy empire, let it be Paraguay. They were the North Korea of the 19th century. They are also one of the only times that the Pope personally allowed harems to exist because so many men died in their death war that, that to keep their population stable, they had to beg the Pope, please allow us to have 3 wives. And the Pope,
Do
seeing how god awful the situation in Paraguay was, actually agreed to it.
you
Keep
were
that in
saying
mind.
King,
Also, on top of that, fun Paraguayan fact. Did you know that their favorite United States president is Rutherford B. Hayes? Yeah, the guy who won because of a corrupt bargain with the other party to determine who would win, and in the process killed Reconstruction. Yeah, that guy. If you're wondering, Rutherford Hayes was the one to advocate for the end of the war and to provide relief efforts and recognition to Paraguay. This kind of saved their state, and to this day, Paraguayans admire and respect him.
also the beard.
Yeah, there's something magical about Rutherford B. Hayes. What about
Uh,
Uruguay? Uruguay kind of has a similar problem to Argentina. I would say that it's a little more stable financially speaking, mainly because it's kind of a satellite or a kind of a play game, if I recall correctly, between Brazil and Argentina. If you're gonna have an empire, it should have been Brazil.
yeah, as Jeremy say, they might mean states because if you think about it, states don't exist at this time.
You're getting
Well,
staticky for some reason.
am I good?
You're still kind of. I don't know what's with your microphone. Might be just some interference.
Give me a minute.
The rifts has gotten him. I mean, Argentina did have a rather large military and it was still a junta at the time. Oh, the 80s Argentina junta? Oh,
But
man.
now,
No, it's even worse.
all right, I'll mute myself.
So for Coyote, okay, so the Argentine junta, I I know where you're going with that, but at the end of the day, that reputation kind of was thrown out a window because of the Falklands for good reason. And on top of that, the Argentine military was not really that good. Most South American nations weren't. I mean, I guess by comparison, Argentina's would have been slightly better because the junta actually, invested in it and they tried to keep their stuff relatively up to date. But at the end of the day, it was an army of conscripts. To give you an idea, it was very common for officers in the Argentine military to just beat the shit out of their soldiers. I'm not even kidding. They still allowed corporal punishment as late as the Falklands. Peru, Bolivia. Now that is gigabrain. That is unironically gigabrain tech. Chile would also have been a good pick. Most people forget about Chile, and I don't mean because of the one time they were ruled by a dictator. Chile is kind of unique among South American nations in that it was actually the most stable of them, and one of the only ones that actually had a history of stable democracy. On top of that,
Uh,
despite having a weaker economy to Argentina and Brazil, it was the C in ABC. It was one of the only nations that could actually match them.
how do I sound?
Much better. I don't know what the problem was, but sometimes I think the rifts got you.
Or it's the machine spirits, who knows?
Ah, yes. The right of percussive maintenance sometimes does help on that.
I where are we
The
at?
Empire of Venezuela would be cursed. Yeah, it would be. Out of all of the former Gran Colombia nations, I don't really know which one would. Sadly, maybe Panama. That'd be cursed. The Empire of Panama. But anyway, the Golden Age of Man. So after our time, there's going to be a golden age where all of these super sciences happen. You fucking love science and things get really good. They cure many diseases, they do gene augmentations, new empires formed. I still think Argentina being one of them is a joke. It's almost as comical as Mexico being one of them. No offense, it's just Mexico is kind of close to America.
I mean, they also say Canada as well, and they say Europe is an empire.
True. Although actually, now that I think about it, if your timeline starts in like the 40s, fun fact about Mexico, it was one of the pioneers of electronics. Like, I'm not even fucking with you. They were pioneers in radio broadcasting and television programming, as well as optics and shit like that. It was an electronics powerhouse in the 40s and 50s. The Giga Curse would be the return of the United States of Central America. I think El Salvador actually still claims itself as the true inheritor of that, too, by the way. I think it's El
Why?
Salvador. Oh, because it actually had the honor of being where the capital was. San Salvador, if I recall, was the capital. So yeah, the Golden Age went fairly well. And the entire world was obsessed with augmentation. You could chop your arm off to get a robo arm that allowed you to punch better, or you could remove your face and get a creepy robot face. It was the great era of peace and consumption, and you just rolled around in your own filth and luxuriating in your superiority. And then all of a sudden, what happens is they collectively go, wait, what the fuck are we doing? And then on top of that, they begin plotting to fight each other.
So I
Mexico is
guess
the first North
international.
American country to have a homegrown tank design. You're actually correct. During the Mexican Revolution, I forget the name of the company, but it's shortened to TNCA. Actually, built a lot of tank prototypes based on the British, I believe it was Mark IV.
So apparently during this golden age, international relations theory just stopped existing.
Oh no, at the end of the Golden Age, everyone kind of collectively realized, wait, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we having this glorious Golden Age of peace when we can use these robot powers to punch people better?
That's what I'm saying. This has to presume that we stopped thinking that in competing with other countries.
To be fair, I suspect alternate timelines. I mean, you could be right, Jim. In fact, you're almost certainly. They didn't put too much thought into this because it's rifts. You don't have to care about the how. It's more about the where. The where. It's not the when. It's the where that matters. Oh yeah, El Salvador also killed or dislocated a fifth of their population in the Civil War. Yeah, that sounds like something El Salvador would do.
The best they could achieve was a world pact in which each empire swore an oath to never use their secrets in war against each other.
The deaths of the evils of
Wait,
technology.
a lo-
Hey
that's what
Shane.
we have now!
Yeah, they went to a new Cold War. Hey Shane. Track of time. Yep, it happens. But anyway, they get into a new Cold War, meaning that giant war, which created the bots and the original crazies, where you just make, I guess, super soldiers that are completely nuts. Yeah, that was pointless. But then what happens is the Great Warp Storm.
And it starts in South America.
I mean, honestly, wouldn't if you were going to end the world in a gigantic warp storm praising chaos, where would you put it? Okay, that's a bit unfair to South America. That'd be my second target. My first would be Russia.
Middle East,
Middle East is a good one.
China.
China's also pretty good. But my first, let's just say if I had to fling 3 warp storms at the planet Earth, I'd throw all 3 of them at Russia. Like consecutively. Warp storm, warp storm, warp storm. Anyway, the end is here.
It, they don't.
Brazilians are
They don't.
just scaven though.
They don't name the two countries. Oh, but what do you think would have to be? I mean, it has to be Paraguay is one of them.
For what? Causing the end of the world?
Yeah.
It has to be. Out of the South American countries, I think the one that is most likely to completely ruin everything would be Venezuela.
I mean, that's currently. Let's assume a bus driver isn't the leader of that country.
What are you talking about? It's not a bus driver. I'm assuming Venezuela is actually led by a psychotic war machine powered by cocaine. Actually, that's a question. Why don't you replace the bus driver with a gigantic war robot that's powered by cocaine? I think he could run the state better.
I don't think he'll accept bribes.
Well, no, he's powered by bribes. You just
But he's
have to
powered by
bribe them in cocaine. Oh, you fling your warp storms at Africa? I mean, yeah, I could see maybe throwing a warp storm at Africa. Let's be honest. Every country on the planet deserves a warp storm. Be one with the chaos.
What about Bhutan?
That's a good question. Bhutan might be free of sin.
Isn't it the happiest place on Earth?
It might be.
Or it has one of the highest rates of happiness.
So anyway, yeah, the rifts happen. Dimensional rifts just kind of appear, and then insanity
Well, well,
happens.
well. No. Here's what happens. So they send what are called glitter boys, which we can get to later, but they glitter. Um, they rout the rebels, pursue them across the border. The neighboring empire responds, sends forth its army. The exact account is unknown what happens, but in a period of an hour, a platoon of tanks, 1,200 soldiers, the town of Guadamarta was destroyed, and that killed 24,000 people, 800 soldiers, and 13,000 other people were injured. And only one glitter boy was destroyed. Response to that, I believe, was what was it nuclear war?
Are we talking about the Great Cataclysm?
Well, yeah. So this is the coming of the rifts. Yeah, Um, I don't know if they say. I believe in the Chaos Earth book they say basically, uh, right on the winter solstice, the nukening happens, and it happens across a ley line, and the release of energy from that
Causes Cthulhu
causes
magic to happen.
pretty much,
Also, Atlantis comes back.
and because more deaths are happening, more magic gets powered up.
So,
Uh,
how is this not a warp storm from 40K?
they're not in hell.
I don't know about that. It has similar mechanics at the end of the day. So, yeah, a lot of bad shit happens. I'll be honest, this is extremely dense. This
And,
entire book is very much clustered.
and no corner of the world was spared except for at least the Midwest and Germany.
Yeah, well,
80% of civilization wiped out in a single day as well.
I mean, I can believe it if you have warp storm fucking roll over Earth.
Yeah, Midwest probably would be one of the better places. Just a lot of resources, a lot of farmable land.
Coyote thinks that if you had to fling a warp storm to ruin everything, you should send it into the Amazon. Yeah. Alien Slaver Atlantis. So it's the movie Raiders from Atlantis. Okay.
Well, here,
Are
that's
they
the other
all
thing.
like death
Uh,
bikers?
you know what? So actually, aliens took over Atlantis and then made it basically a slaving port. Essentially, Cthulhu is just trying to be a hut. That's all Atlantis is. It's a giant slave and criminal
I'll
market.
be honest. The moment that they created Atlantis and had aliens, I kind of lost more interest in the setting slightly. Because Alien Atlantis is just kind of
Oh
ho
no, no,
hum.
no! It was human.
No, it doesn't
It
matter.
land.
It doesn't matter. Aliens ruling Atlantis just makes it kind of ho hum, you know. Like that's normal crazy. We like this is Rifts. You have to have cocaine crazy.
Well, there's a source book all about it. So
Now, how cocaine crazy? Now, what is cocaine crazy? Um, okay, here's an example. Jews are from another dimension and are actually more advanced on a galactic scale than humanity, but were sent back by a force higher than them because they failed to properly ascend, knowing all of the lessons. And they single handedly fought the Martians on Atlantis over the control of collective consciousness of humanity. That is cocaine crazy.
I
Yeah, we
don't
do
know
need
if
Mike Sparks
that's
crazy.
at Atlantis. I do know that they practice something called tattoo magic.
Are they making it as to? Oh, that's even more boring.
No, 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 they're not. It's just magical tattoos.
Oh,
It's not.
that's kind of ho hum. Kind of ho hum. Little limp. Little limp.
So it says um, there were at least 2 to 3 demon plagues.
So is that
These
about the warp not being a thing?
they lived through it and didn't
You
come
know
out
who
serving
also lived
them.
through it? Caliban. That's what
They
the
weren't in
great
a warp
beasts are.
storm.
No, that's what the great beasts are. It was always like
They're,
partially penetrated by the warp.
well, they're chaos beasts, but it's not like they were in a warp storm. You get in that, you aren't returning back sane.
What was the another example would be what was it? There's the Soulstorm game. That's an example of one.
Were there people still living on it
Yes, the
afterward?
remnants of the native Imperial Guard.
Were they still
I think canonically they lose the
human?
campaign. No, like I think canonically they lost the campaign, but yes, they were.
Oh, fair enough. Um,
I think they canonically lost in Soulstorm. I don't quite remember.
no, they did, because that's where Boreal is from, and he lost 5 companies of Space Marines.
He
That's
lost well over
500
half the
Space
chapter,
Marines.
yeah.
Yes. Um, and let's see. The earliest tales of this Dark Age speak of the Nemons,
Oh,
gods.
they also mentioned was it DBs? What are they?
That's their term for non-human life, essentially. Dimensional beings.
Oh,
Slang.
you know, most of the time they usually have that like as a they usually have the glossary early for that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's because you don't. It's hard to say if any of these alien creatures that cross over are technically from this universe or not, so. Well.
So what are the Nemans again?
Godlike champions who sought to stem the tide of chaos and destruction, they came from lands all across the Americas to make their last stand here in the Midwest of the old American Empire, somewhere near Tolkien or Chi-Town. The Nemans are said to have drawn upon every resource available to them, rode great war machines, and used magic and the powers of the mind. No mortal enemy could stand against them, for their ranks include armor-clad giants, gleaming eagles made of silver, and moonbeams, and powerful,
So
intelligent.
okay then. Are you sure this is not an alternate Age of Strife Terra?
Do you want me to tell you who they actually are?
Why not?
They're essentially, uh, they were just humans. It's the North Eagle uh, Mobile Army or something like that. Basically, they were the combination of Canadian, USA, and Mexican. Uh, I guess some sort of security force. Uh, so when they're talking about eagles made of silver, there's a type of power armor. It's called silver eagles. So that's what they mean.
So what
That
you're
it
saying? So I mean, I'll give credit in that this opening segment is trying to get you into the point of view of well, people in the era. But this is reminding me we usually kind of skim these types of points of views, you know?
I mean, you said it's dense.
That's also a problem I'm having with this book so far.
Let's see. Fourth demon plague killed them off. Then the Nemans that survived, well, they died. Uh, Only the fabled glitter boys would survive to our present
What are
day.
glitter
Great suit,
boys again?
giant suits of power armor with a big fucking gun.
Okay.
Um,
I I will admit the fact they don't give you a terminology. Like, do they give you a terminology at any point soon? Nope. Okay.
nope, nope, not yet.
That's what we call 'em as a kind of shit design, but that's just me.
Yeah. Uh, let's
Aaron's
see.
Arm, Criminal or Heroic Visionary. Don't. Is this like some weird review thing?
It's a point of view thing of the people of El Dorado to see if they wanted to join the coalition states, which that's actually something we should probably bring up. It's on
I mean,
the
you should probably. I
left
don't know
side.
what the coalition states are.
So it says last 20 years, tiny kingdoms, city states, and towns have popped up. High tech weapons have started to become reasonably priced from Black Market, Northern Gun, Manistee Imperium, the Golden Age weaponsmiths, and then the coalition states rose up. And to give them in short, they're Illinois Nazis. Uh,
Oh.
well, I say that they're the Imperium. They're just the, in a way, they are sort of from the ruins of Chicago. They are a empire that has more or less the middle of the United States under their control, and they basically say, "Are you an alien? Are you a mage? We'll kill you. Just kill you. You're not human."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
No, no,
They
it's just the more the more I hear this, the more I'm like, this is just the age of strife.
oh,
This
and,
is
and by
just
the
the
way,
fucking age of strife.
they allow psychics. They allow psychics.
Same, it's the same fucking
And
thing.
well, this is the different thing. They have these guys called dog boys. They are humanoid dogs.
Abhumans, beastmen. That's an That's an
Yes,
actual thing.
so they create them. Uh,
What makes them any different than the fucking Thunder Warriors or Astartes then?
they're dogs,
That's just the Space Wolves with the
and I
Canis
believe they have
Helix. That's
all.
just letting the wolf in fucking wear power armor, man.
But I mean, they're man's best friend.
So are the Space Wolves. I mean, they're also the Emperor's executioners and fucking crazy Vikings, but at the end of the day, they care more about humans than most chapters do. This is just Age of Strife Earth. Holy shit.
With just a lot more weirdness. So I think we might skip the Aaron Tarn thing, or
Yeah,
at
I'm
least
skipping
just
that. That's just
it. Yeah, it. I guess would be interesting to read of like perspective.
we don't usually read them in White Wolves. We're not starting now.
Let's go to world overview.
Oh, okay, here we
And
go.
more so
I will
page
say this
60.
book is very not dry, it's not quite dry, but Jesus
It,
Christ.
it it could use a bit of color.
Just a little bit. I'm not asking for much.
So first of all,
What
Aaron
did come
Tarn
out?
is
What came out first? Probably oh god.
no 40K would have 80s.
40K would have because of Rogue Trader, yes.
Yeah. Although
But at the point I think Rift's making its setting
sorry,
as it was
but
probably beat the Age of Strife being a thing.
hey, someone joined
I'm
us.
sorry I'm late, but I couldn't resist coming in at this point because
Hey, Tech.
Rifts is yeah. Hi, I'm Tech. Rifts is a bit of a guilty pleasure in terms of the fluff for me because it's just
For me, it's just all I'm seeing is it's the Age of fucking Strife on Earth. Like the only difference is you don't describe. The only difference is the Imperium of Man does not start in Bhutan. If you're wondering where the Emperor first started his crusades, it was in the
Nepal.
Himalayas.
Yeah.
well, Bhutan's
Instead,
around the Himalayas, man. It's right in there.
Technically,
it,
it's in Nepal, but I think
yeah.
Bhutan's funnier.
It is. I
Instead,
mean, the
they're
idea
from
of
Chicago.
mind you, the idea of like the Emperor's first guys being Gurkhas is really fun.
I mean, they were. That's what they
Yeah.
were. That's
So yeah, Rifts.
this is just the
Oh
Age of
boy.
Strife Earth, but with dog people.
Well,
Oh, there's more than just dog people, Adam.
yeah,
Oh boy.
there's more than just that. But that's
I
what
know, but the
that's what the
problem is this
coalition
book
has.
is like on the surface it looks wacky and then it's like looking at your tax returns. Structurally
Well,
speaking, this has the same energy as a W1082.
To give you an idea, Adam, if you don't know about the creator of this book, he is something else. Like
I don't know nothing. I know nothing.
oh man, he's notoriously defensive about basically everything he's ever written, which is no surprise at all for many
Oh,
of
then
these
he's gonna
authors.
hate this video. I'm not like seriously critiquing this. Like at the end of the day, this is not like me seriously critiquing.
Oh no,
I openly said that I'm openly only saying it's a formatting issue so far. The concept
yeah,
of just fighting on Age of Strife Earth does sound fun.
yeah, no. Like here's the thing. I can criticize the design all I want. Would I still, if he popped up next to me with a Rifts book and said, "Do you want to play a game?" I would sit the fuck down with that man and say, "Yes, I want to. I want to go on this drug trip with you."
Can I play Dr. Seuss, but with the power to summon the Grinch or the Cat in the Hat or any of my creations from my children's books? If yes, sure.
yeah, as I said, the summoner.
Go for it. I want to be a giant man in robot power armor. Go for it. Like Rifts
Yeah.
is one of those things where I
Can you be a genetically augmented silicon-based life form filled with the lifeblood of children, aka the Kool-Aid Man?
Yes. I think we could do
I
Heroes
think that there's
Unlimited through
rules
that.
for creating Xenos. Yeah,
Yeah.
No. It's literally the fucking Kool-Aid Man, but with the
I
Juggernaut's
know. Yes,
unstoppability power.
you probably could
Yeah.
with making the right species and the right career and all that shit.
Now, my problem is formatting-wise. This is the driest book I've seen.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
We haven't even gotten into the
But
actual
despite that,
mechanics
you know
yet.
what I've already said. This is basically what Chalt wishes it fucking was.
Oh yeah, no, this is what Chalt wishes it was. Riffs very much is what like Chalt is
This
trying
is
to imitate.
legitimately like that is not an insult to Rifts.
No,
I
it is not.
mentioned that this appeals to a certain type of gremlin, and you've heard some of my id ideas. This is basically, hey, Do you want to play Jason Voorhees and like the fucking Care Bears fighting against, I don't know, Willy Wonka industrializing child slave labor in the wastelands of fucking Mexico?
It
Sure.
sounds
Yes.
like Deviant, basically.
Well,
Like Deviant gone gonzo.
This
we'll
is
get
deviant without its medication.
we will get
Which
to
is
the
already like
Mexicans
Deviant's already been slipping on that shit. Now we're going way above that.
because just think about Mexico. It's taken over by vampires.
Oh my fucking god, the Sabat, they did it. They fucking did it.
Yes.
Does that
Well,
mean
well,
no,
no.
that means that the guy who
this-
created this book, he probably read a little bit of the By Night books when he did that.
Well, those
When did this
that
come
would have
out,
come
actually? What was the date?
90s.
90. I think
1990? Exactly?
I think I think vampire.
If it was
The
1990 exactly, then
the
no.
very first book,
Oh.
yes, but remember this is the collection of like
No,
more
no,
than-
the vampire source book I think came out like within a year or so.
The original Vampire the Masquerade source book dropped in, I want to say, 92.
92, yeah.
But this
Um,
predates. This also has.
So what you're saying is that White Wolf stole the vampires from Mexico.
Well, do understand in this case, vampires come from an eldritch abomination trying to take over the earth.
Well, that's where they come from in Vampire too. So, you know,
And here's my second rebuttal,
Um,
by the way. Warhammer Fantasy is older than this, and that is literally the kind of plot line for how vampires exist there, because they gain their powers from Nagash.
Can vampires in either setting be harmed by squirt guns?
There's no squirt guns in the setting, but I imagine yes.
Yes,
I
yes.
imagine yes, you'd need a guy with like True Faith 5 and,
Well,
and a bunch of holy water and a squirt gun, but I think
yeah,
it'd be
The old
possible.
world of
No,
darkness,
in
yes,
this-
you could.
In this case, because they have an aversion to running water, you can use a super soaker against them. That is a legitimate way to kill vampires.
Not like dunking him in a river or a pond or whatever. It's you've got to actually
Well, no, you can do that as well, but
you can use a super soaker.
yes.
Well, why do that
because
when you
it's-
can do the more comical thing of literally pulling a random bullshit go by throwing, like, I don't know, an
A
entire
bucket of
bag
water
of pepper.
over him.
No, an entire bag of peppercorns to force them to count them. Because I also
Fun.
imagine you can distract them by throwing tiny objects at them and forcing them to count them.
No, they didn't go that crazy.
Oh, come on! No,
You can
I'm
do that
actually
in
a bit
Vampire.
offended. If you can murder a vampire with a super soaker due to that logic,
Well, no,
I
that
should
just
be able
harms
to
it.
destroy a vampire's mind by throwing a bag of peppercorns and telling them to count how many fell on the floor.
I believe the way to actually kill it, you do have to cut its head off, and then bury it. And wait 24 hours, and then it's dead.
I'm disappointed that I cannot
You-
force a vampire to count.
You can't even if you stake it through the heart, it just paralyzes it. Doesn't kill
I am
it.
still
That's
disappointed. I
Masquerade as
cannot
well.
make the vampire recreate the count from Sesame Street. This is ruined.
Oh,
My what was it? I am
No, you can make that-
irrevocably
My day-
disappointed,
my-
and my day is ruined.
Yeah.
you could make that probably a player character.
My disappointment is immeasurable. My day is ruined or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
So let's move on first to the distant land of England.
It's basically all of those English stereotypes.
No, it turns out the Druids are back.
Yes,
Oh,
all the-
no, it's the
Yes,
mystery of
it's
the
all
Druids.
it's all the stereotypes I would make for England.
And if I recall, King Arthur is back. He's being led by
You're
Merlin.
acting like no. This is legitimately. I literally
no.
like up front. It's every stereotype you could for a post-apocalypse England. Arthur's
no.
back. The Druids are back. The Fae are back. It's literally
Here's-
every basic thing I would do.
No, here's the twist. It turns out Merlin, I think it's Morgan Le Fay, and is it Galahad or someone else, are all the same entity, and they're manipulating this guy to be King Arthur.
That's the literal. I've seen Evil Merlin before. That's not that creative either. Come on, this is supposed to be the meth setting. Where's the creativity? Where's the pizzazz? Where is the Winston Churchill crawling from the dead and screaming, "We'll never surrender," as he eats like 5 times his own weight in human children? Where's the Jonathan Swift baby manufactory where they raid Irishmen to feed Soylent Green out of their infants?
What's with you and the babies?
Because Jonathan Swift.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The next thing is, well, the New German Republic. Apparently
I am disappointed by England.
they're cheerful, happy. They have an arms manufacturer, and they're fighting gargoyles.
Okay.
Okay, this is rad.
A little more clever, a little more inspirational. I'm
The
liking where this
wingless,
is going.
the wingless gargoyles, as well as the broodkill. And the Republic is, I
They're
guess,
fighting the fucking gargoyle. Okay. Now,
yeah,
England's
they're
a
fighting
disappointing failure, but Germany is where it's at.
the technology surpasses that of the coalition states. The people are educated and literate, and they're tolerant of dimensional beings. Except there are human supremacists, but they at least accept them.
Okay, so England is boring because it's literally every human stereotype you can come up with for a post-apocalyptic England. If you had magic, it is literally everything. But Germany's creative. The army of gargoyles is creative.
And is fucked.
Yeah, it's not as fun as Shadowrun Germany, but it's still pretty good.
All this game is missing is Chaos Gods or Demon Elves, and there'd be both settings at the same. Oh no, they're both there.
Oh no, they're there.
They're both there. They're both there, Shane.
Because it turns out that I believe the gargoyles and the broodkill, they're all types of demons.
Okay, let's see about Poland. Okay, they're in bad shape. Humanity safely and away in fortress cities. Poland's a land of feudal kingdoms where technology and magic push back the disorganized band of gargoyles and so on. Okay, that's a little lame. Poland's a little bit lame.
We did not visit France or the surrounding area, for we are told it's a hostile and dark wilderness and the domain of necromancers, witches, and blood druids.
That's also a bit lame.
Yeah, no, they skipped France for some reason. It's this
I'm a bit disappointed so far in Europe.
Genesis also has France somehow fucked up.
So, do you want to know what I would have done for France?
What?
I would have made their big threat being the Great Mime Wars. People who basically imagine mimes, but as tyrants who try to inflict silence upon all those because that's how they gain their powers.
Mimes warping reality.
Yeah, the reality warping mimes who require silence to keep their focus to allow their constructs to continue. So they are in a war to destroy those who speak.
That's too clever for Rifts. Let's move on.
No, that's not clever. I'm coming up with this is something I think could be in Rifts though.
Oh yeah, it could be.
Oh yeah.
It's
they're known as the Silent Emperors.
Suppressing the one thing the French love to do, protest.
Yes. Or alternatively, there's the plague of snails. Giant flesh-eating snails that
Russia, land of cyborgs, gypsies, magics, demons, and the warlords of Russia.
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
Armed with scythes and rail guns and treads and demonic visages.
Okay, then we're coming up with something actually interesting.
There are a bunch of feudal kingdoms that are all cyborgs. It is pretty much.
Now I am disappointed that Poland is not ruled by like the god king Cossack and his army of hover bike and horsemen. That's a bit sad. We don't got a Cossack king of Poland. With the winged hussars and all that sort of shit. A little bit sad on that, but the Russia's making up for it.
China is hell.
Oh, let's see how bad China is. It's literally hell on earth.
12 hells.
Okay, so China is literally controlled by the Yama Kings. All right.
And if I remember correctly, in the China source book, they have one demon who is pretty much trying to be Chairman Mao.
So the warlord period of China, actual warlord period of China, but with demons. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I ain't complaining about that. You can be maybe a little more inspired, insert a little more wuxia nonsense, but I'm okay with the direction it went.
And it's shrouded by the Dark Souls mist, the one where you can go in, but you can never leave. India, domain of warring gods and the forces of good and evil, and we mortals are pawns and soldiers in their battles.
That's a little lame.
Yeah. Japan's interesting. So you have feudal life, a lot of them, and then there's, I believe, one
This is just
city.
this is just stereotypical Sengoku Jidai Japan.
No. Here's the thing.
In all your animes.
One city from the Golden Age, right as the rifts happened, was teleported 300 years into the future. Which includes the ability to play as a cyborg dragon. You're a cyborg in the shape of a dragon.
Aw, I was hoping you were an actual dragon that's
my
also a
biggest
cyborg.
problem-
I thought it was too, but
My biggest
no.
problem with Japan is that besides that one city, it is literally every stereotype you could come up with for a post-apocalypse fantasy Japan.
The rest of Southeast Asia
It
is
has
wilderness.
what is it with island nations being disappointments?
Well, we do have Australia coming up, but rest
Russia
of
has
Southeast
turned into
Asia.
the Brotherhood of Nod territory. Yeah, but there's no Kane to unite them.
So there's at least one major technological kingdom, which I assume would have to be Vietnam, because they will never give up.
You know, if you're gonna have like, here's a cursed idea since this is the 80s. Have the Khmer Rouge
Oh.
come back, but it's
Oh,
a
no.
Cornate death cult.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, but
Look, I
they wouldn't survive.
The Khmer Rouge wouldn't last 5 minutes, man.
Oh yeah,
This is rifts.
yeah.
This is rifts are
Australia is a shattered land where humans in the outback live like savages, and the two tech kingdoms shut themselves off from the rest of the world. So not that different from
Boring.
today. Also, there's a giant lake in Australia, if I remember correctly.
I think that's just to make sure that its climate can hold more people.
Africa, a land of contrast on almost every level.
So basically, it
Well-
hasn't changed.
Yes, the flora and fauna are a combination of indigenous life and alien transplants. Although there are a few kingdoms with some technology, most have returned to tribal ways and magic. Ooga
Oh,
booga,
no.
everyone!
That's a bit.
Ooga booga.
no.
That's a bit cringe.
Bongo, bongo, bongo! I don't
This
want to
is-
leave the Congo.
This is cringe.
It really is.
So okay. So in the event that the apocalypse happened, reminder that the creator thinks that African will go from "Hello there, my friends. I am here to introduce you to an interesting business deal" to Keep that in
Insert
mind.
random clicking language. Yeah. No, I mean,
Like
It
disappointment
really is.
refilled.
It
Yeah.
really
where's
is.
my fucking like Great Zimbabwe reborn in
Actually,
in
wouldn't that
Africa?
be cool if like Great Zimbabwe was like, I don't know, maybe that one instead of
That's like
Atlantis
it's a-
being the aliens land there and they're building like a great pillar beacon to the rest of their far-flung race.
They're like,
Well,
we didn't actually build the originals, but we just like this. We're just
No, we
weebs.
like Great Zimbabwe. So humans, I want you to rebuild
to
it, but
rebuild
bigger.
Great Zimbabwe.
Well,
Imagine
Well-
having an alien imagine 5,000 years or
Like
whatever.
the alien kings literally become trans-African. They're like, no, we were here
Yeah.
all along.
No, even better.
we
even
were
better.
the kings.
Even better. We were the kings because they look at Egypt and they're like, oh, dude, we built the pyramids. Look at all these humans saying that we built these. We were kings. Just
Let's
imagine.
see.
Just
yeah.
imagine for a second that sort of shit post gets out into the stars, and that's what the aliens actually fucking believe.
Because
By
they
this
also
point.
kind of look like their gods a little bit.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking now. Alien Hebrew Israelites.
Oh no.
No, actually,
Abraham Lincoln, he was actually an alien.
No, you find out that the Jews were actually a sleeper race of what are they called? The interdimensional beings. They actually came from another reality, like spirit science predicted.
Shut it down. He knows.
Shut it down. The Goyim know too much.
In the north, there's a tyrant dragon king. The
I'm
Egyptian
just
gods
now
of
reminded of the
darkness.
South Park take on Judaism, where Moses was literally the AI from Tron, and I'm just envisioning that, but that's like Judaism.
That's one of the best episodes. Is the whole the macaroni pictures.
I don't know.
I've
There's
seen
just
that one.
something. There's just something kind of interesting about the concept of that. I don't know.
You must make the macaroni picture, Kyle.
Wait, no, my favorite would be what History of the World Part 1, where I've brought 15,
10
10 commandments. But Slavery's back in Africa, except it's aliens taking them now.
I mean, slavery was kind of always a thing, so
Slavery's been a thing globally forever. Like people
But
forget that the reason
Africa,
why.
like, no, they
But
still
they're
have it.
raiding now. They're raiding now.
No,
Yeah,
it's,
the reason.
no, that's still a thing. It's just
Yeah.
they don't have to hide anymore.
Yeah, like
And actually,
like,
no, it is different. It's on the coast, not the interior.
that was still what was happening in Africa.
To a
Even on the
limited
coast,
degree,
you still
yes.
get raided.
Was it being done by aliens?
That's the only.
Kinda.
I mean, that's kind of how the slave trade worked.
The Portuguese are basically aliens.
So what happened is the aliens appear from their ship with their weird pale skin and their light hair, and they said in their horrible devil language that they'll take that person for money, and we were like, well, we're gonna sell them to this guy for money, but this guy also has money.
Also, they'll
Then they
give
give
you
us
their weird weapons.
They'll give you
their
their
fire
stick.
pikes.
They'll give you their fire pikes that can kill people hundreds of feet away.
It's like a bow, but it's loud and noisy and kind of cool.
Atlantis now.
Also,
by the way,
Atlantis.
remember in Africa, at least in the book for it, you're supposed to fight the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse before they combine and form
What the fuck?
and form the mega apocalypse. I'm joking on the name, but yes, it's basically defeat death, war, pestilence, and I don't know if they use fury, strife, or anything like that. Whatever the 4th one is, before they they combine and destroy the planet.
You know, this almost reminds me of the idea of that Ashens once had for a Chef Excellence show, where it's the 4 bad chefs combining into the ultimate war crime against gastronomy. Only
That
it's
also could be a Rift thing.
it's with more tribals.
So, Atlantis reappears in the Demon Sea, which we call the Bermuda Triangle.
Of course.
Oh, that's so lame.
Atlantis itself is the source of a great mystical energy with more ley lines than England or the Magic Zone.
Oh, God.
Visits the dimensional market in the city of Splin. It's inhabited by DBs from countless worlds. The evil Splurgorth, the terrible alien intelligences that rule Atlantis, are interdimensional slavers who traffic in every life form you imagine.
I mean, if you
Here
can
to every
reassemble
vice
matter casually, do you really need
and
slaves?
and offer terrible forms of augmentation and produce dark magic best left to the bottom of the sea. And that's kind of what they're here. The reason why everyone is trying to go to Earth from the Megaverse is because you can easily get to it because there's rifts popping up everywhere. And the Splurgoth just wants it to be as it is so he can just enslave people. He doesn't want to rule it. He just wants to. He's an alien intelligence, and his only desire, I just want to run the slave trade.
So he's just Portuguese.
I was gonna say, basically just the Huts, if they somehow knew how to.
The Huts don't rely
travel
purely
through.
on slavery. In fact, actually, the Huts would make fun of them for being like, "Oh, you only rely on one business."
Well, no, they
Big
do
joke.
others, but their main thing is slavery. Because again, the thing is, a lot of other people from other dimensions will accidentally come here, so you'll never know what you find.
So is there like a full trans-dimensional slave trade? Like I'm
Yes.
baseline familiar with
there is.
Rifts, but like
Yes, it straight up says there is that Atlantis is
Jesus.
a dimensional slave market.
Okay. I just feel like Atlantis is kind of a disappointment compared to the other parts of the setting, but
Well, also including people who take animals from the dinosaur swamp. Which, yes, dinosaurs are back.
Well, here's the problem. If you keep on stacking...
In the south.
You can only stack so much ridiculous before I'm like, okay, you're trying too hard.
Well, then there's South America. It's cut up by the Vampire Kingdom of Mexico. Amazon River is now bigger and has dozens of new branches. And there's few pockets of civilization, including Argentina. Brazil's gone. Brazil's just forests and primitive tribes.
Okay, You can talk a little bit. I'm gonna need something to drink because that's fucking retarded. That's really fucking retarded.
If I remember correctly, also Colombia is still around. Chile's still around. Venezuela's still around. And there's a bunch of were-jaguars in Central America.
Okay, I have another drink. So here's my rebuttal. Explain why the fuck the plot. What? Explain why the fuck the La Plata River also didn't expand and destroy Buenos Aires.
Rifts.
I don't
Also,
understand this weirdo's obsession with Argentina.
Look,
also,
he read Starship Troopers.
yeah, the
He wants to
promise.
he wants to atone for that. Okay.
I also realized this. The Inca Empire is back.
Oh shit! Yes.
Okay,
And
Tawatinsuyu.
there,
I'm not gonna complain
and
about that.
and here's the thing: there was an alien invasion that was happening, but I think either the Inca stopped them or the kill satellites in space shot them down. So there's just these aliens that are living in the middle of South America trying to eke out an existence because their botched invasion failed. They're also
I find it
uh,
amusing that the Incans destroyed them because they tried to take over Puma Punktu.
well, you gotta understand, these ancient civilizations were actually using magic now. So, you know,
I just
there's,
feel like Saitama watching as Boros
there-
explains how he conquered an entire universe.
there's the Kingdom of
Or like
Dragons.
whenever he fights a monster who like explains
Mhm.
directly how powerful they are.
There's a kingdom of lizardmen, tribes of feline mutants and
Reminder
jaguar
that
people.
Warhammer Fantasy already kind of,
Well, they're not ruled by frog people.
I I love the trying to justify. My
Outer spaces.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like some of the setting areas seem kind of neat, and then it's just like, oh, you went the most stereotypical route possible.
Well, remember that was just the rest of the world. Here's America.
Okay.
Let's see. 18% of the planet was covered through wilderness in the pre-rifts. Um, every return of magic
You're
coming. The
you're
rifts
trying
eliminated.
really hard, but look, our
Yeah,
American
I'm trying.
homeland, it's like so dense. You can't
It
really
is very.
summarize.
Um, so basically, you either you have these very small kingdoms or these very small towns, and the rest of it is just forest or wilderness, and basically places where you're fucked.
You poop in the woods and you like it anyway. So the eastern woods, because those all regrew. Yeah, that's just the East Coast. Basically back when the pioneers were a thing, the colonists were a thing. Because here's the thing: the East Coast of the U.S. used to be very forested. Yeah, we chopped all that shit down for a reason.
Home to barbarians, wild stalkers, Sumerian warriors,
What's a
fairies, and
Sumerian
the
warriors? Is that like some weird Jewish order from New York?
no. Okay. So there's an artificial intelligence called
Moses. Yeah, he wants you to make the macaroni
yeah,
pictures. Okay.
Archie 3.
Johnny Five is
And
alive,
yeah, and he believes it's his right to take over the world,
of
control it.
course.
But he doesn't want to reveal that he exists or anything like that.
Did
So
he?
he's
Are,
he's has a few plans. First of all, he has an arms manufacturing industry that uh, people purchase the weapons, and he can basically track them uh, through that. He also, with the help of his Coomer friend, I think his name is Hagen, designed an all-female warrior group called the Shamarans. It's a whole.
oh,
It's a psyop. It is. Um, they look humanoid, they act humanoid, but they're actually robots, and they are pretty much all warrior women because, uh,
It's the
again,
author's fetish.
I don't know if it's yeah,
my
maybe.
disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined.
But no, I do like that the only reason that Archie made them like that is because his human friend said, "Yeah, you know what I want? You know what's going to really help us if we have big muscular warrior women with big tits."
Exactly. It's his fetish.
Uh, the southeast is
All right.
a dinosaur swamp.
Okay.
Dinosaurs, swamp creatures, barbarian tribes, mutants, and alien plant life. Oh, I didn't realize this. We have dinosaur wizards.
I mean, that almost is cool.
Imagine
Lizard.
a T-Rex with a wand.
I'm sorry, I'm just still kind of stuck on the author's secret fetish. Just kind of,
It isn't necessarily the authors. I was saying like it's the guy that made
Yeah.
them.
I know.
I
It's
have
just
northern words of Canada, Michigan, Midwest have been taken over by the fury beetle, the thicc, loop-garu, and
Lugaru's
Sasquatch.
Lugaroo is like the Cajun equivalent of a werewolf, sort of, but also
Yeah.
kind of like the Sasquatch.
And the thicc are the Zerg.
Oh,
I'm actually like the more I'm learning about America, the more I'm kind of getting disappointed.
I mean it's still more than Africa. I'll give
Oh.
it that.
The Magic Zone. Ohio.
Ohio is the magic. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Um,
I'm laughing so hard, but
So it's like Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Oh,
it's after the
Jesus
Appalachians.
Christ. Oh,
Um,
that's embarrassing.
the magic.
That's more
lures creatures here.
embarrassing than Cthulhu only like being the world's shittest hut. Jesus fucking Christ.
They include.
That's lamer than the English setting, which is just, oh yes, let's just recreate Arthurian legend for the 800th time. Let's not have Soylent Green but with babies, and let's not have the horrendous class divide that was the best of times and the worst of times out of Dickensian. Let's not have an iota of creation, because that would be, oh, so dull.
Well, let's see. They include creatures such as the Necrophim, Darkhounds,
I don't know,
Sunbeam,
Ashen Spear. I don't think they're going over the top enough.
Dragon Apes, Demon Dragon
Okay,
Mages,
that's almost. You're getting somewhere.
the Psy Goblins, the Zenith Moon Warpers, and these are all in the World Book 12 Psyscape. I believe they're past World Book 30.
So the Magic Zone right now is actually
tonight.
almost interesting.
It has. I believe it houses the Federation of Magic. It's a magic civilization.
Federation.
Yeah. They're more evil.
I wouldn't know. Like you're assuming. Remember, I go in these blind usually if I don't know the setting.
So, well, I mean, there's like what there's a bunch of different civilizations, but they're like magic wielders that are more like the arrogant sorcerer kind.
So far, the only setting in here I unironically like is Devil Warlord
Is
China and Germany
Ohio.
fighting the gargoyles.
Devil May Cry Germany.
Also Ohio being possessed by Psy goblins. Yeah, that sounds kind of neat.
That sounds legit. That sounds like Ohio.
Grassy plains of the west and northwest roam tribes of Simvan monster riders, dinosaurs, worm wraiths, devil unicorn,
These are
giant
just monsters
canyon
that
worms.
I don't know about.
I don't know either, but they sound fun to say. Paracons.
So half cat.
That sounds like
half
a
dinosaur.
Decepticon. It sounds more like a Transformer. The rhino buffalo and many others.
It
And
gets better when you break
The
into
rhino
the
buffalo?
Sun books.
Yeah.
So okay.
I have to
if
read
they're
some
doing
books.
that-
Okay.
So if they're doing like just
Oh yeah, Warlord
rhino
Rush is great.
buffalo.
Yeah.
why not just say it's a woolly rhino?
Well, the
No,
problem is
I think it is a little it's a buffalo's. I don't know if it's a
No.
rhino-sized buffalo or a buffalo-sized
if they brought
rhino.
back dinos, they can bring back the woolly rhino.
Yeah, like bring back the woolly rhino then. Like, come on.
The Midwest is full of woods, meadows, grassy plains, farmland, lakes, rivers, but also broodkill,
Satans,
witchlings,
I don't know what that is.
black
Tooth Fairy.
fairies, gargoyles, neuron beasts, Zytec, rhino buffalo.
I love how the writer assumes you instantly know what half these fucking monsters are.
Ostrosaurus and the fury beetles, including tribes of Psy-stalkers.
This
Yeah, I don't know what any
we're
of
like
the
we're 18 pages in and not a fucking lick of this is clicking.
Southwest dinosaurs, Rocky Mountains, including the forbidden berry and sharp cliffs, tales of alien jungles and weird lands. It's
So
home
you
to
have details
Leatherwing.
about Germany, across the fucking ocean, and the goddamn pathetic version of Nar Shaddaa ruled by Cthulhu. You can get to Europe, ignoring the Cthulhu and the Africa, but you can't
Oh,
tell us what's beyond the Rocky Mountain. Holy shit.
if I remember, either that. Well, first of all, the Native Americans are back and now use magic.
Hi,
Uh,
Shadowrun.
And
what? Sorry,
I do remember
I've seen that before.
there's one-dimensional being, the cactus people.
Cactuars from Final Fantasy?
I don't know what that is. I never played Final Fantasy.
They're a
Um,
specific monster that in 10 actually have an element of a culture, but their whole shtick is they have a move that does exactly 1,000 and 10,000 damage. That's their gimmick. They're also very hard to hit.
I don't
Like,
know. I
they
just
have
thought,
ridiculous evade. You know how the metal slimes in Dragon Quest are near impossible to kill before they run away? That's kind of their shtick, only if you don't hit them hard enough, they'll just kill your party by doing a lot of damage. That is how the Cactuar do.
so I guess the next page they do explain some of the other
Dargans.
creatures.
Okay, so they have Dargans, and they're basically the exact same thing from D&D.
Yeah,
Fae, which
fairy,
same, yeah.
yeah,
Demons, yeah, they're awful, evil, blah.
monsters. Native Americans.
Yeah, you didn't know
Um,
Native Americans aren't human.
I have found Native Americans to be generous, kind, and spiritual people, Kimosabe. Uh, but
They, they
all are
they also
not.
often tend to be played by Mexicans or Italians, I've noticed.
What do they do? Smoke them the peace pipe? The
Look,
Psy Stalkers.
I'm willing to riff on this because like that's the most stereotypically boring thing you can fucking do with a Native Americans.
Psy Stalkers are rowdy, wild uh,
They're basically murder
monster slayers.
hobos.
And the Simvin monster riders are savage, unpredictable, and violent.
And compared to Kimasabe with his peace pipe.
The the wilderness is sanctuary to magic practitioners of the dark arts, necromancy, shifting, and witchery, as well as wild men of magic, elemental fusionists, and
So the
uh,
subsetting books are a lot better, huh?
well, this
Okay.
is yeah.
They're more focused.
But then they move to next page, a bit more on the life of
I'll
North
grant
America.
the creator this. This is a million times more descriptive. I know comparing it to Chalt is so unfair to Rifts, and it's such a limp comparison to constantly do. But since this is in the same category, I have to, because I'm demonstrating even at its worst, when I think it's ho hum, there's still some form of creativity, even if it is a cookie cutter variant.
Pirate Kingdom of Montreal. Just
Unironically, that's still not as cursed as what I did with Montreal once in my cyberpunk setting.
what'd you do?
The clown state of Montreal.
Hmm.
Basically, a
So
political movement focused on positive nihilism and absurdism managed to take over a crumbling part of Canada because, Canada's split into three in the cyberpunk setting in mine. And unironically, the clowns are running Montreal better than the Quebecois nationalists ever did.
Well, speaking of Quebec, it's now an independent city-state.
It would instantly fall apart
Wait,
into
what?
shit, and it's not a
City
city
state?
state.
Yep, Free Quebec was once the most second most powerful member of the coalition states,
Lamau.
but they bristled at the control of Chiton leadership. They also have a fuck ton, and I believe not in the
Reminder that
description,
Quebec's
in the actual
nationalism is
weight.
insane.
They have a fuck ton of glitter boys. So just imagine armies and armies of power armor.
Power armor wearing Canadians.
That's
The worst.
hilarious, given I don't even think that that Quebec actually was the source of a lot of their industrial might. I
And
do know that during World War II, Montreal Laboratories was where the source of Canada's research into electronic warfare was, though.
let's see. Also, both Windsor and Detroit are now ruins.
Yawn.
Let's
There's
see.
only so much you can do if you're just gonna be if you're gonna take the most common king,
I'm on page 21. Laszlo.
Wait, free Quebec. So this is Quebec City. It's not even Montreal. So it's not even
No.
the part that would actually have the glitter boys.
Remember,
Gigabrain.
Montreal's taken over by pirates.
Yeah, it should be them. It should be them with all the glitter boys that use them to like raid people by punching their lights out. Look, I know the setting is whatever you want. I'm just pointing out things that the writer probably did.
No, it's here's this. The old Quebec City is about 75% human.
Wait, is Chi-Town Chicago?
Probably.
No, it's Milwaukee.
What?
Jesus wept.
No, I'm fucking with you. Of course. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's the Chicago's destroyed. It's the suburbs.
Oh, we're all the. Oh, okay.
Well, again, this is after 300 years, so.
I just find it amusing that Quebec City is the source of all of this industrial might. Quebec fucking City. This would be like, oh yes, during the Grand Apocalypse, there stood the shining beacon of progress and individuality. This great city, named after the glorious Chancellor of the German Reich, Bismarck, North Dakota, stands strong.
Well, I mean, who would
Imagine
that
Bismarck.
place?
Imagine Bismarck as like the shining city.
I think Bismarck, you're thinking too good. You're thinking because I'm pretty sure Bismarck is on the nuclear exchange list. No, we're going.
Well, that's only because it's like
it's
near like some military assets. That's the only reason.
So if you want that, but you want like something that would actually survive like an apocalypse, you want real fucking Midwestern kitsch. It's the shining city on a hill, a beacon of it. The place where agriculture is king, Mitchell, South Dakota, where the great corn king in his corn palace raises his corn legions to defend the corn.
That's what
you do.
No, I raise you. And his eternal rival, the Azure Emperor, the Duke of Denham, the Emperor of Duluth.
That's even funnier when you if you know anything about Duluth at all. It's not like
no. Imagine like the emperor. Like yes, I kept the city going through the jeans factory.
There isn't even a jeans factory there. It's not really.
It's like the menswear thing, though, isn't it?
It's called the Duluth Trading Company. I don't think they're even based out of Duluth.
Oh.
Duluth was like Duluth is most famous for being a place where you'd be shipping out like lumber and iron.
I was confusing it for the menswear company.
It's also famous for a speech that was done with like the great outlooks of Duluth, as someone was basically like just like this is a shithole and just going.
Quebec City is Quebec's second city. Oh, okay, here's my rebuttal. Do you know what the second city of Wyoming is? Just because it's just because it's the second city of something doesn't mean it's the most. Doesn't mean it has that level of capacity. There's a reason Montreal massively outshines it.
Yeah, and in any case, the idea of Duluth being the host of a great nation state is really fucking funny to me because I've been to Duluth before. I'm like, but why? Why would you be here?
Because it was the only city that didn't get nuclear exchanged in the nearby area.
So I mean, it's on Lake Superior, so I guess.
So apparently that trading company was in Duluth originally. They're now in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, I was about to say they're probably just over the border. Yeah.
I'm just making fun of if you're gonna actually have like the country, the area that would have all of these power armored big fuck gun motherfuckers, it wouldn't be Quebec City. It'd be Montreal.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like it's not even the silver medal. It's the oh god, it's the Billon medal. It's the bronze. It's the copper laced with silver medal.
Oh.
It could be worse. You could be right. It could be St. John. You know, the capital of the Maritimes. It could be St. John.
It could be worse. It could be worse. It could be what
Labrador.
What's the city up in fucking Nunavut?
Oh god.
I don't even remember, and I know my geography enough to know that none of it's a fucking thing. I wanted to
is
say
it
it was Yellowknife, but
I was gonna
I'm
say
not-
it's habit.
How-
Having.
The great
It's
city
habit.
of Medicine Hat, Alberta.
oh no, not Alberta. Please, no, anything but Alberta.
Well,
It could be
what about
Regina.
Toronto?
How about Regina, Saskatchewan?
It's all
Which is a
cursed up
city
there.
only known because Deadpool made fun of coming from there.
What was where was it that the Blues were going to be moved to? Saskatoon?
Saskatoon's a good one.
Saskatoon, the Great Empire of Saskatoon. Now there's a name that inspires some fucking fear. You betcha we from Saskatoon and we're gonna come and get you. Just
The
they got the
Empire of
fucking Nani hats.
Eureka. The Empire of Eureka, California.
The famed Raiders of Traverse City, Michigan.
Traverse City.
No, even worse, Reno. Vegas got nuked, but Reno somehow survived.
No,
because
Carlson
Reno's like a
City.
fucking...
Carson City.
Carson City is different. Carson's a capital. It's gonna get hit. Reno is like nobody cares about Reno.
What about St.
But,
George, Utah?
the Mormons.
Well, no, it's not even. St. George is in the southern part of Utah, like on the border of Arizona. That's how it's a fucking train wreck area.
Yeah.
Alberta
Actually, is
was
Phoenix
nuking in
around?
rifts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where if I had to nuke a place, it would be Alberta because of its resources.
Alberta is just
It's like number 2 in my ranking on where I'd nuke Canada.
yeah. I mean, I'd nuke Alberta just out of principle, honestly. It's just the worst fucking name for a place ever.
Laszlo, the city of magic.
Toronto.
Well,
Why is it named after a Hungarian man?
Because it's named after the 20th century scholar Victor Laszlo, which I think comes from Palladium's version of Call of Cthulhu.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay.
Beyond the supernatural. So.
Is there a reason why it's there rather than good old New England, or is it because New England's too nuclear?
I don't know. Because it's, I would assume, around
Nearly
the Great
1 million
Lakes region.
people lived in Laszlo. That means most of them are dead now.
Yeah.
That's currently.
1 million people in Laszlo, truly the center of
Lived.
civilization.
Here's the thing, though.
of North
Lived.
America.
That means that they are not alive anymore.
Well, no, that was rough.
That means
Now
that. I mean,
No. It says 100 PA post-apocalypse.
its
So
current population is
It's
actually
300.
horrifying at 2 million.
Oh wow, they
since the
grew 1
destruction
million
of
people
Tolkien,
in.
Yeah, that's not
he's
good. This is a medieval, kind of a quasi-medieval setting, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like
Here's
a
why
million people in the middle of Canada.
here's why I could critique it. After you talk about what Laszlo is, you then have a paragraph about unemployment and crime increasing.
Crime has
Yeah,
increased too.
no.
What they could not completely prepare for was having 300,000 plus jobs ready, nor the emotional toll of refugees and the impact they'd have on our original citizens. Crime has increased by 269%. Unemployment is at 37%, and people are suffering from culture shock.
Here's the problem, though. My thinking is their unemployment was already trash before.
I mean,
I'm just wondering now. You just imagine the
They go into
Mag-
detail
the-
about the police and medical authorities in Laszlo too. What the fuck?
is Laszlo meant to be where you're supposed to base your characters out of?
I think if you're supposed to be like a magic character, because again, the coalition will kill you if you are a mage.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
I
Yeah, but they didn't describe the coalition area at all into this level of detail.
We will get. I think we get there. We get there later.
The Canadian Northwest is an endless expanse of
Alberta-
forest.
Alberta and Saskatchewan, thick with ley lines. And Saskatchewan's responsible for unleashing the Zytec on our world.
I don't know what that
of
is.
fucking course the Canadians have
Dessert.
plagued us.
They're
the
the
Zerg?
Zerg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
blame
gonna
the
keep
Canadians.
forgetting them.
Blame the Canadians. They ruined everything.
In past times, Native Americans built Indian mounds and medicine wheels to mark where magic was strongest. Today, new megaliths and stoneworks have been erected to mark the locations of magic. Many of these seem non-human in design or scale, and few local folk who live in the region are simple peasant farmers and raise sheep and cattle.
I like that
So
Calgary to this day is just a festering ulcer on existence.
it's run by a demon.
No, it just shits out demons.
Yeah. Oh, here
Sounds
we
like
go.
Calgary. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Calgary in a nutshell.
The American West Coast. Get him buried. California,
Oh.
Oregon, Washington.
You know,
Just
I'm actually
gone.
kind of okay with that.
As I remember correctly, the Great Cataclysm caused Yellowstone to erupt.
As is tradition in
Yeah, but
these sort of things.
if Yellowstone erupted, it wouldn't fuck over the West. It'd fuck over the Midwest and, where your glorious little, bootleg empire of man.
Yeah.
It would butt fuck everything up to the Appalachians.
And I guess they fell into the... When is California supposed to fall into the ocean?
It isn't. It's supposed to become an island chain, and that's not all of California. It's just part of it.
It's like just around SoCal, isn't it?
It's San Diego, Los Angeles, and I believe it goes up to San Francisco. Like, it's supposed to essentially scissor and form an archipelago almost.
Yeah, that's SoCal basically.
And the coast up to, I think, past San Fran and Oakland.
So it's now a jungle, apparently.
I like how he just gave up, like, fuck if I know.
American Northwest, the Big Sky Country, prairies, rolling hills, tribal people, Simvin, refugees fleeing from what was once the American Empire's state of Minnesota.
No, they would be doing that naturally anyway, even if without the
Oh,
apocalypse.
and the Cyberknights.
The Cyber Knights
I'm
of
calling
Minnesota.
bullshit.
What do you think they are?
No, I'm calling bullshit because the assumption that anyone would put a high amount of technology in fucking Minnesota.
Minnesota's actually host to actually a lot of high tech firms.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's where Best Buy was. It's like Best Buy, Target, like all these other companies.
That is
kind of
not
got their
technical. That is.
No, now
I give you shit.
On top of that, hold on a bit. Let me finish here. On top of that, there's the University of Minnesota, which does a lot of technical research.
All right.
And apparently
But consumer electronics does not equate to,
I know, but still, you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of tech associated
Does that mean the
stuff.
Tech Knights are just like fat asthmatic nerds that like hoard computers?
Are the Tech Knights just Target employees?
It's Best
Like
Buy people that are like the power of Dell compel you.
I would say cyborg Jedi paladins with psychic swords.
Okay.
Oh, there has to be. Oh,
That's kind of rad, but
They're paladins. Like, again,
no, it's just
I say Jedi because they're psychic.
They just had to do a Star Wars, and I'm just like,
No,
it's Star Wars.
It's not. It is not really. I mean, it's just the best way I say. If I say, a psychic warrior who's got some sort of nobility to them, what do you think of?
well, not fucking Star Wars anymore. I think of the new types from Gundam now because Star Wars is dead.
I mean, yes, it ended in what, 2014.
No, it ended with Episode 3.
You're missing out on Legacy.
No, I'm not, because officially the last product that ever got shat out was in 2011.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Tech Priest,
So,
yeah, that would be fine. I'm sorry, it's just like,
yeah.
I can't enjoy Star Wars on a fundamental level anymore. It is that boring and tedious now.
Well, moving on from bitching
Imagine
about Star
killing
Wars.
a franchise.
Moving on from bitching about Star Wars, apparently there are castles in the sky which are created from cloud magic.
I'm just looking at the new West, which is just Wild West, but if I wanted that,
Yep.
okay.
Um,
I'll be
Cowboys.
honest. This setting isn't as cool as I thought it'd be.
It basically is the frontier. The Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma is the new frontier.
That's Cyber Knights of Oklahoma. My only experience with Oklahoma City is it has one of the worst transportation networks I've ever heard of.
I've gone to Omaha. Or wait, Oklahoma or Omaha?
Oklahoma City.
Oh,
I wasn't making
I'm gonna
fun of
say
Omaha.
Omaha's pretty bad. Omaha's pretty bad too.
Oklahoma City is so good. Do you want to know where the exit signs are? Exactly where the exits are. There are no warnings ahead of time. Manhole covers are just stolen every day casually while you're not looking. It is amazing.
Oh wow.
Next, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming. Badlands that have very little appeal. There's the black market manufacturer Bandito Arms. Area 51.
Of course.
The Cyberknights come from there. Power armor. Colorado still has the river staking through it, but the rest of it has been reshaped. The Colorado Baronies, a techno wizard dominated community, which they haven't mentioned, but I will say it basically is wizards, but they shoot their spells out of ray guns.
The more I read, the more I learn about the setting, the more boring it kind of becomes.
That sounds a lot like the Technocracy. Magicians with ray guns.
Yeah.
Still, you have a lot more crazy shit. Also because you don't doing your shit doesn't fuck with consensus. There is no consensus anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just now envisioning Bitcoin wizards.
Yes, I think
Bitcoin wizards.
that could happen.
Or magic
Actually,
through the blockchain now.
no, there is like a sort of gambling kind of magic, I think.
By the way, Montana and Idaho sounds boring. More tech
Led
knights.
by a guy whose name is Lord Coke.
Jesus Christ.
Southwest, Arnzo, Tampico Protectorate, Los Alamos,
More shit I'd see if I wanted to play Deadlands.
Texas, where might is right and roving gangs, degenerate mercenaries, and petty tyrants are the lords of the land.
This is Mad Max. It meets Deadlands.
I mean, this just sounds like Texas, like modern Texas.
I'm actually kind of like this is just like
it's very dry.
It's dry, but like the stuff that he's come up with, just.
What about the Picos Empire? A community of.
Dude, I once came up with a post-apocalyptic setting where the Minnesota Vikings ruled a fucking state and conspired to control every other NFL holy site. Get on my level.
Mexico, the Vampire Kingdoms. Let's see. These are not the savage, slobbering, animal-like vampires we know in the Southwest, but intelligent, malevolent beings who have built impressive cities, established their own cultures, and keep humans like cattle to be raised and slaughtered.
It's just the vampire counts from fantasy, and fantasy's been around way before this. This is just Sylvania.
Oh, here we go. Coalition states.
It's just Sylvania with the.
So we're finally to the coalition states. Okay.
The Illinois Nazis.
Now that'd be actually funny as shit because they'd fight and lose against the Blues Brothers.
The new coalition led by Emperor Prozac.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for.
Wait. When did Prozac hit the market?
Well, it's Prosek.
Yeah, Prozac.
I think that's how you spell it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The medicine's spelled differently, but I don't care.
Let's see.
Is Prozac's error called Ambien? Because I feel like I should take a Ambien.
No, I believe he's called Joseph Prozac II.
Prozac was first released and marketed in 1986.
Yeah.
So he might
anti-depression medicine.
Prozac.
So let's see. The coalition states. The coalition state of Missouri is a tactical addition to Chi-Town as one of the weakest, most timid of the Allied states. As a result, Missouri, which includes half of Iowa, is essentially a buffer zone for human resettlement.
What are we reading? Where? Huh?
I've moved to page 25.
Oh, the dirt hut. Yeah.
That's not a dirt hut. That behind there, that's a city.
Oh, I couldn't tell
Ask
because of the foreshortening in the background.
the burbs in the shadow of Chi-Town.
Wait, so they just made the hive cities from 40? Okay.
Well, the megacities from Judge Dredd, really, but you know.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah. Let's see.
I know. It's just I keep comparing because it's similar, but
There are two notable kingdoms, one of which is Wykin, formerly known as Poplar Bluff. Longtime ally, and Wykin hold similar values, and they are devoted human
is there a
supremacists.
reason why they call Arkansas the state of El Dorado?
I don't know. Kingsdale, as a Thorn Coalition side, uses magic and all that stuff.
You mean
Uh,
you're getting
I
bored?
I am somewhat Arkansas. So because it's Fort El Dorado, that's why for Arkansas.
Oh,
yeah.
has the same energy as Zardoz.
Zardoz.
Zardoz. We could be watching Zardoz instead of reading this.
That'd be more interesting, I think.
Uh,
No offense, it's just this book is doing its damnedest to make it unreadable.
We haven't even reached the statistics yet, Adam. I don't think you understand quite yet just what Rifts really is until you.
Dude,
we
I
want
know there's
explain
such
the
a thing
concept
as
to
you punch a dude and they explode.
Yes, but do you know
Yes.
why they explode?
Because I just did 100 damage, but it's statted
No,
as
it's
1 damage.
okay.
Do
You're
you wanna skip-
you're sort of on the right track.
Do you want to skip to character creation then?
Well, I don't know if are we going to ever come back to this? Is a good question.
And I would like to.
My
I mean,
problem is this book is dry as paint.
So if that's the case, let's get some of that done. So that if
Oh
you're
no,
going to
let's
introduce
be fair, because I can at least give it one more. It'll be the stats for a part 2. Because I feel like I am being a bit unfair. Because for all I know, the sub books, as Ash and Spirit mentioned, the sub books are a little more focused. So, to be fair,
and again, they have fun stuff like the Underseas one, where you can play as a dolphin in power armor.
Fuck yeah!
You know, I could do that though in Eclipse Phase.
Yeah,
you're in the ocean this time.
I could still do that in Eclipse Phase.
Yeah,
and you can fight Davy Jones.
Okay, you can't do that.
No, you can. It's an evil AI known as Davy Jones.
Okay.
No, this is the actual Davy Jones.
But this is the actual Davy Jones.
Okay, so
you're
you
fighting
can't quite pull
as a
that
rope.
off.
Yeah, like fighting an actual Davy Jones as a fucking dolphin in power armor is legitimately pretty rad.
The problem is this is kind of interspersed though with like
the blandest shit.
The blandest way you could do something.
It's this book I want to know is basically one man's idea of a setting.
See, here's the thing. If you had to make a post-apocalyptic society version of the United Kingdom, the very first thing people always do is they bring up King Arthur. They bring up the legends of Excalibur and Camelot and all that crap. They bring back druids. It's always the most lowest common denominator stuff. Even if there's all sorts of other things you could bring up.
Almost every setting does that though, with like magical England is and admittedly I'm not expecting Rifts to be like super diverse about that. Like, you know, like I'm not expecting Rifts to suddenly lean on like, oh no, we're bringing back like the fucking Regency era Britain or some shit like that.
No. But imagine if instead of that, you had the equivalent of a psychotic death cult fermented by Oliver Cromwell.
Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking into the fun stuff.
Like a crazed purification cult led by Oliver Cromwell. essentially. And it's a horrifying society powered by Soylent Green made from processed Irish children, a la Jonathan Swift.
It was meant to be parody. It was meant to be parody.
And on top of that, they have enslaved a race of giants known as the Brobdingnags as war suicide penile legions
Okay, we're
and
getting way off
Lilliputian
into the weeds.
saboteurs.
We're getting way off into the weeds.
I'm just pointing out that I have been told repeatedly, and at first I was enjoying it because yes, it does have an open creation system, but the mental illness factor in this book is a lot lower than I was anticipating.
It does get pretty wild. It is a wild setting. It is a
But
wild
is it
ride.
Oliver Cromwell feeding his people Irish babies level crazy?
I think you're going into this. You've got to understand that this is 80s, early 90s crazy. Like this isn't
And
like
Jonathan Swift is from a century prior.
But they weren't thinking of that kind of stuff. They're thinking, let's have ninjas fight robots.
yeah. This is 90s cool
But I've
factor
not
crazy.
gotten ninjas fighting robots.
Well, on skateboards,
I haven't seen that either.
That's Japan, though. We're talking
That
about
is Japan. That's the whole mega city they've got there.
the U.S. We're gonna have teenagers with attitude fight giant monsters.
The problem is the setting books don't really go into those like clever little 90s isms though.
But while you guys are talking, I am looking through. Apparently, the College states it's building a fortress in Waukegan, Illinois.
Keegan, Wisconsin.
No, Illinois.
Oh,
The
Illinois. I
largest
thought,
fortified city ever attempted is being built at Waukegan, Illinois.
what the fuck?
Wait till you find out what Cosmo Knights are, paladins of a godlike machine world that can go toe to toe with it. It's just a Skitarii on meth.
I mean, Meth Scutarii is still pretty fucking cool.
Okay, here's Wisconsin wildland. Here's parts of Wisconsin. Oh no, with ley line nexuses at Barshfield, Stevens Point, Green Bay, Oshkosh, Wadama, Big Flats, Montello, Adams, Mouston, Sparta. I think anyone listening should probably just put up a map of Wisconsin for reference. West Salem, Richland, Bridgeport, Madison, Jeanette. Okay, I'm gonna butcher that. Juneau, Watertown, Waukesha, and Milwaukee, Lake Geneva, and Beloit. So pretty much Wisconsin is just full of magic.
And Alaska.
Wisconsin. So the Red Letter Media crew are now wizards.
I mean, that's funny because of outside context, yes.
Yeah, it is, but it's still funny because if you know Milwaukee at all, like
I'm just imagining now that the Leylands somehow made the Packers superhuman.
he probably has.
That could be fun. In fact, actually, a security death squad of football players, like, oh, in the off season, we're soldiers of fortune.
Why not?
The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is arms manufacturers.
There's not. You've never been up
Not
to
really
Upper.
anyone there though. It's all Finns. It's all Finns up there.
There's almost nothing up there. Yeah.
There's a reason why the Finnish went there because the Finnish have like a personal space of 5 fucking miles.
Also,
Say-
you know what they're missing? They're missing weird Mormon cults.
They are. There'd be a fuck ton.
In Salt Lake, yeah, and I know there's an interesting weird community that was actually native to Michigan that should be here.
There's also one in Idaho.
Yeah, it's just like I think I'm not expecting super giga detail, but like if you're gonna go 90s, I feel like this book, it probably is because this is the bird's eye view and the guy figured it was a good idea to do this. But at the end of the day, I think him doing this made this book worse. Because rather than just detail North America, he wasted how many pages doing the rest of the world, but it was done poorly?
Like 5.
Imagine if you like cut all that garbage. You cut away all of the fucking garbage and focused mainly on Laszlo and the coalition area and the magic zone and the Great Barrier, right? and,
But
and,
you
may,
wouldn't
and
get to
maybe
know.
Montreal and Quebec City.
But you wouldn't get to know that the Ohio Valley region is the eastern extension of the Magic Zone and is so rich in magic that it attracts all manner of
Of
supernatural
monsters
terrors.
that they expect you to instantly know because you bought earlier editions of Rifts.
Still, this just means that Ohio is just full of monsters.
But that's Ohio already.
Like
Dude,
Ohio
Uh,
being full of.
dude,
We're joking about Ohio. We love you.
anytime I've ever entered Ohio, I have been solicited by goblins and creatures that only speak in reverse Latin in the cries of children that they've eaten. That is Ohio on a normal day. Maybe that's my problem with Rifts. It tries to be crazy, and it does kind of succeed at Gonzo. But the
It is
problem
pretty
is,
fucking
I can
gonzo.
out crazy the author. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the problem.
that's your problem. I think. Like for me, it's a refreshing amount of crazy. It's a nice amount of crazy where it's like,
Meanwhile, I
okay,
have the
this is
Slaneshi definition of crazy, where I'm like,
yeah.
no, you need to go
Meanwhile,
crazy,
here's
bro.
Adam. Here's Adam in a fucking straitjacket over here, going like, I can make it better. I can do it more. Please,
I
just
can
let me
come
do it.
up with something 1,000 times stupider. Let's go.
Let's go. It's like I've got the biggest brain. Why do calculations correct? No, so I can be stupid faster.
Actually, the best way to describe Rifts, I wish I made the thumbnail because I didn't expect my reaction, is hey Rifts, how crazy are you? Oh, I don't know, like you got women Amazon soldiers and like you fight dinosaurs on skateboard. And then it just cut to me.
You are like little baby. Watch this.
Oliver Cromwell's Purification Crusade using the Irish's Soylent Green.
Just
but I have also realized this. I think we'll get a kick out of it. Is the fact that in the South, the most powerful city in like the Alabama, Louisiana
I hope it's
region,
Biloxi.
Guntersville.
Guntersville is pretty good. That's a good candidate for dumb.
Huntersville.
Huntersville. I think you said Guntersville, and I'm like, I've never even fucking heard of
Huntersville's
that.
also a pretty
No,
good.
no. Gunt. As in.
It is Guntersville.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Good pick.
Guntersville, Huntsville,
Now that's
and Decatur.
inspired. That's the level of psychosis I expect.
Decatur is
are part of the Golden Age weaponsmiths empire of low-end weapons, gear, and used vehicles.
That's the cheap garbage.
Yes, quick
Oh
sell.
yeah, baby, this is the good trap. Oh, you know what they should have done? I'm disappointed that I thought of this and they didn't. Super soldiers spliced with possum DNA rather than dog boys in the South.
You know, that's probably
They're immune to
experiment they're doing.
disease. They're powered
That's
by
probably-
anxiety, and last but not least, but they are
They eat
capable.
garbage.
They could eat anything.
They eat garbage and they scream.
We built them. We built them to fight the infamous thicc vampire hybrids that were invented by the Cuban vampire cartel.
Florida's gone.
I think I have the right crazy to.
Wait, they destroyed Florida? Fuck yeah.
Yes, it's underwater.
Yes. Based.
No,
except
the
for
problem is
the Everglades.
No, the problem is Florida can survive this. Florida men will just become water world pirates.
Oh no.
Maybe
with
they turned
alligator
into the
barges.
dinosaurs. Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually,
I was
go look at
completely
the artwork.
correct.
Well, no. It just says that
Oh
the
shit!
region is home to
Oh
dinosaurs,
shit! Look at this art. I love this art.
dinosaur-like monsters, man-eating plants, mutants, barbarians, and exotic creatures. So
I was
that's
kind of right. That's just Florida.
It's just Florida. What happened when the apocalypse came to Florida? Florida didn't really know.
I mean,
this.
Florida sunk, but who gives a shit, man? I just put a bunch of alligators. I strapped them to my mobile home, and I ride the earth as a pirate now. You know they need soldiers powered by methamphetamine.
Yeah.
that's
There
the
is
juicers.
actually, if I remember
That's the
correctly, there is
juicers.
yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say that's the juicers. They're literally people with like psychic powers that are superfied.
No.
amplified by-
They're just given super steroids that make them,
I could,
you know.
Yeah, I could have sworn that there was another group that did a bunch of drugs to get magical
No,
powers.
I think. Well, perhaps. I think you're talking about the ones that.
Oh, there
have
are other
cybernetic
animal
implants.
soldiers, by the way. Yeah, but I really doubt that he made possum soldiers.
Well, there is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
to be
Game.
expected.
But again, Megaverse.
It's rifts.
You can
Yeah.
take that and put it in Rifts.
That's to be
Just-
expected.
That's just rifts for you.
You know what also I would expect? An order of samurais that are patterned off of rabbit people because of Usagi Yojimbo. I would perfectly
Probably.
expect that.
Probably.
I mean,
let's
Like
see.
you're just preaching to the choir, man.
Um,
Look,
these.
I can out crazy the author. You can say whatever you want. It probably won't beat what I can come up with.
Let's see. Lower portion of
I'm not trying to
Maryland.
brag. I'm just like,
Yeah, no. I'm.
yeah. We're
I-
just gonna wrap this up, I guess.
Yeah.
no, I really like the art though. Like, look at this.
Oh yeah, no. The art's fantastic.
Hey,
DC
look,
is
it's
submerged.
the Bland DeLorean along with the Tusken Raider, and he's working with an elf with a sniper rifle.
Yep.
I love Star Wars.
Yep. Welcome to Rifts art. They weren't even being subtle.
Well, no. That's just a mage. That's a ley line.
Slav squats.
That's a Quebecois.
The Quebecois is Slav squatting with the crow.
Yep.
I can't really see this as a Quebecois. It lacks
says a
the
free
aura of smugness.
Well, he's squatting while no one's
Zerg, the
looking. That
Human
is
Torch. Okay, that's kind of Giga Brain. Fire, water, fusion elemental. That's kind of Giga Brained. Oh, the
giant
Coalition
robots.
soldiers are the skull guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't need to know that these guys are evil, here you go.
Northern gun. I mean, I don't dislike the robots. A
I have a
Nexus
feeling they're
Knight from
ripping off
England.
something.
That actually. Oh, they
Those
are.
are-
They're
those are-
ripping off everything somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my problem. The book is so dry, and then you see the art, and you're like, oh, that's what this is. Okay, I can see the crazy. But the book is like doing your tax returns.
That's a good way to describe rifts, honestly.
Like you see these glorious bits, and then you look at the book, and I'm like, oh God, did I make sure
Yeah.
to carry the 5? Oh no, is the IRS going to come in and kick my ass?
Let's see. South Carolina.
Now I will say one thing. I will say one thing. Visually, I love the art. Design-wise, this book is dildos.
Yeah.
Oh, do they have any? Oh no. I want to see. Do they have any details on? Oh, they don't have details on Delaware. They do have Pennsylvania though.
No. Delaware is. What do they say? Delaware is underwater.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
40% of New Jersey. Everything south of Mount Holly.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, they purged New Jersey. I think that's a definite one.
The death of
New York-
Delaware to get rid of New Jersey. That's a price
That's an
I'm willing to
acceptable
pay.
sacrifice. Yeah.
New York City is a madhouse.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
South Carolina is lost 40 miles of its coastline. North Carolina is half gone. The new coastline begins at Lumberton, runs to Fayetteville and
Come
Raleigh.
on, bear soldiers are neat. Dude, okay, here's my rebuttal to that. Furries.
Virginia has a third of its land underwater.
That's my rebuttal to that. Furries.
DC is in ruins, but it's was
Above
under
water?
control
Oh,
of the
I
Republicans.
have a fusion animal soldier they should have done. What's
Wait,
the name
it's under
of
the
that?
control of the what?
The Republicans.
Oh no.
No, it's Republican in the generic term.
I know, but still, oh no.
You know, I just thought of a great idea for an animal soldier.
What?
Great horny toad man.
Great horned toad man.
Well, no, because remember the horny toad has the ability to shoot blood from its eyes, burning, irritating blood from its eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It says the
Come
island
on,
of
imagine
Manhattan.
a soldier. They're armed with a gun, and then to distract you, they shoot blood into your eyes.
I think you can actually make that. That's a valid character. The
You
island
made
of
me
Manhattan.
sad. Jim, now you know how I feel when I realized the crazy levels weren't at the level that I was expecting.
So, Manhattan is an anomaly. Sometime during the Dark
Well, yeah,
Ages, some force
Manhattan is always an anomaly.
raised the submerged island and slammed it into the coast, making it a peninsula.
It was
The
underwater
once,
originally.
yep, the once great metropolis is nothing but a mass of rubble and twisted steel. Not one building stands. All that remains are piles of debris. Still, I have known scavengers who claim to have dug hundreds of feet below the debris and found ancient pre-rift artifacts in salvageable condition.
I feel like
It is
your destruction
it
of
is
New
haunt.
York. I feel like destroying New York to that degree kind of is a waste. You know what I mean?
Um, it says it is haunted by the millions of souls who died during the Great Cataclysm in a matter of minutes. It is
I still
Mad
feel like
Haven.
you waste. I feel like you still wasted a potentially interesting city area.
Pennsylvania and Maine are just villages.
Boring, yeah.
Um,
I feel
and
like
yeah,
no, because like another example is you could have had some interesting stuff in the equivalent of Pittsburgh. Well, I have to bring furries into it because you got to keep that in mind whenever you have a human-animal hybrid.
and then we can. Well, that's the lore. Then we move on to the characters, such as
Game designer notes, gamers are more sophisticated these days and seem to wonder about the construction and logic behind game mechanics, rules, and design choices.
this is
I'm
him
lacing this
justifying his
book with the
wisdom.
sides. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
fuck.
as I said, this guy is a treat. When as a game designer, this man is. I both love him and absolutely want to beat the shit out of him with a baseball bat.
I'm calling game designer notes to share my thoughts and reasoning on why things are the way they are. Sort of like the director's commentaries on DVDs.
As I said, he's a ride.
I hope it
Again,
will help contextualize and clarify the role. Oh God, this is like what Derek would do, but it's almost endearing in a way.
it is. That's the thing about this guy. This is 100%
This is Derek
sincere.
DeShaw if he actually was straight edge and actually put his nose to the fucking grindstone and
Yeah,
pumped out a
that's the thing
game.
about Riffs, right? Riffs is 100% sincere. It is not. It is not like just like trying to be like, oh, this is my fetish stuff. This is like, no, this is what I think is cool. This is what I think is really cool, and you should like it, and here's why. And he gives a shit.
The only problem is in the ultimate book, it doesn't really show in the setting.
It's
In the
it's a pity.
subbooks, it probably does.
He
But unfortunately, we're not reading those.
Yeah, again, as I've said before, if this guy showed up at a random game store and said, "I'm gonna run Riffs for you," and I made it, I would sit down and I would play the shit out of that game with
As
him.
soon as he okayed my idea of a Dr. Seuss summoner, I probably would, yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
Riff.
Look,
he's
if I can play the Burger King as a form of creepy assassin that leaves hamburgers on the site of my crime, I would do it. Come on, haven't
The
you ever
Burger
thought about
Killer,
playing a murderous Burger King as an assassin build?
the Sneak King got really fucking dark all of a sudden.
Can you understand why I think that the crazy level's a bit overstated when you hear little shattered
Yeah,
bits from my
yeah,
internal mind?
yeah, I do. But let's keep going here.
To continue to defend this game, I'm not like trying to shit on it. It's just I feel like it's just something about the internal design. It's just lacking.
there needs to be some variety, some more visuals.
And the text needs to be broken up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Um,
So anyway, yeah, he puts an entire little just Jesus. It's like a whole page of him like apologizing for what he's about to do.
That's not inaccurate.
So the occupational character classes, the men at arms. And you can play a combat cyborg, full conversion, crazy, cyber knight, glitter boy, headhunter, partial cyborg, juicer, merc soldier, robot pilot. Note, also see coalition OCCS in the CS section. I don't know what that is, but okay.
and there's also more of them.
Body fixer, city. Okay, so these are all the classes you can play.
Basically, it is, if you are playing this class, that's your class.
Mind melter.
This is what you're playing as. You're
Dog
not going to
boys.
be switching classes or anything like that.
All
This is your role. So if you were having like you're playing as like a coalition squad, you'd probably have one guy who is the leader, one guy who is the heavy. There's probably an LCC for like a heavy gunner,
Oh, no,
one for a
Squirrel Killer, they're
sniper.
being perfectly civil to me, given that they actually know and like the setting, and I'm just kind of, not full-on shitting, but, poking, needling.
I don't know, if I was going to be mean to Adam, I would just reference more about Age of Sigmar.
Let's make this an Age of Sigmar podcast.
Okay. So my least favorite aspect of Age of Sigmar are, I honestly think Sigmar's faction designs are a little bit too close to 40k. It kind of completely ruins it, and also they killed my boy Fantasy. But my favorite part of Age of Sigmar is occasionally the models. Everything else can die in a hole, but some of the models look nice.
They're going to be releasing new Lizardmen soon, and they actually look cool.
No, they're not Lizardmen anymore. They're Seraphim, or where the fuck they call
Seraphon.
Seraphon.
Seraphon, yeah.
But I mean, in this case, they also made them essentially demons that are made out of stars.
Yeah.
That's almost okay. My favorite faction are the Soulless Elves, though.
They get summoned by constellations.
Yeah.
My favorite part are the Soulless Elves. Other than that, I'm not a real fan of how the setting works. It reminds me a little too much of Planescape, but in a not good way. It feels like Planescape, but like in a way that I'm not interested in. Mainly because it kind of like, it's that weird bridge between just playing in the realm of chaos and 40k. Whenever I think of Age of Sigmar,
Yeah, kind of.
I mean,
Want to go see the
I
combat
can talk
sideboard?
about Age of Sigmar. I just think it's a terrible setting.
Let's get to the actual thing that makes Rifts go like
The part of Rifts that's actually good.
Well, no, I wouldn't call it good at all.
It's the part of Rifts that makes it Rifts.
Oh,
yeah.
It's not good at all. You heard it first. Rifts, it's not good at all.
It's clunky and it's weird, but that's part of the charm of it.
So go to page 46.
I had the 30th anniversary version from Jim Jones. It was essentially not dry. Oh. So page what now?
46.
Okay.
To skip over more of this.
Making a full combat cyborg conversion.
Means
statistics
80% is machine. They're more machine than man now.
Okay, size and shape. In North America, cyborgs have a human bipedal shape and form, although they may sport an extra pair of arms. You're usually man-sized, although that's deceptive. Man-size can range from 6 to 10 feet. Ah, yes, the very, I have a friend. He's actually 9'8". Perfectly man-sized, as they all should be. MDC by location for full conversion cyborg. Hands 2, 33 MDC each, max 50 MDC. What's an MDC? Fucker if I know!
It's a mega damage.
Oh, that's mega damage?
That's right.
Okay, so so automatically does 330 damage. You got it.
No, that's your capacity.
Yeah, that's how much damage you can take.
Okay, so I can take 3,300 damage to my hands.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you have a certain kind of mega armor, you don't even take normal damage.
Okay.
It's Rifts.
So I can take
stupid.
I can take 6,000 damage to the legs,
and you'll be fine. Your legs are fine.
Main body is 18,000. I could get hit with an Ultima, and my heart would still pump. You have to break the damage cap all of Final Fantasy to kill you.
Basically.
Age of Sigmar did my boy Mal. It did every character dirty, in my opinion. That's my problem with Sigmar, man. It killed fantasy. It drags their corpses out and puppeteers them like a fucking skinwalker.
Malice Darkblade's dead by then.
Yeah, Malice is gone, which is pity, but there you go.
He fucking taken exploded. Over by his demon.
I'm just pointing out that they just puppeteer the remainders like fucking skinwalkers. Anyway, Arms and hands for combat cyborgs. Robot PS. Robot PS starts at 24. What's PS? Who the fuck knows?
Physical strength. But yeah, no,
It's all abbreviation.
the PP starts at 18 with a maximum of 26 possible.
Reminder, viewers. Reminder. I
You know-
only know these terms because someone is explaining this to me. Because the creator is such a gigabrain, they don't actually give you a table of contents to tell you what the fuck this is.
You know what I realized? You did say it's like Chult, and I do remember.
Chult had the same fucking problem.
Yeah,
And
at
I hate
least.
that.
However, I will say this: at least it has the character creation in the back, and it's not just fuck it.
You know, here's the difference though. I can tell there's almost a certain logical mechanic detail in here, which Chult doesn't have. On the negative, I don't know what any of this crap means.
So it does say you can have a cyborg with treads, wheeled, spider, or horse-type legs for locomotion.
An
You're
estimated
now a
98% of all
cyborg.
combat cyborgs have a humanoid body with 2 legs. I like the weird
Yes.
random stat he just threw in there.
Yeah, he does that. He does stuff like that.
See Rift's trademark world. There's like a certain mental like he is crazy, but he's not matching the level of. Well, no, actually, I think this is
It's a
matching the crazy I'm
coherent
expecting.
crazy.
No, this
It's
is
a
matching the crazy I was expecting because he's expecting the gamma ray beams from his mind to teleport into your mind, so that you instantly know exactly on every level humanly possible what he is intending. I know I said the same thing with Derek, and that's a bit of an insult because there is an internal logic that I'm actually seeing here. There is detailing. Look, he's giving combat armor by type. He gives details about that. There's equipment here. It shouldn't be here because that should be its own segment, but who gives a shit? It's there. There's details.
Well, it's there because
it's statted.
It's there because it's the equipment for them.
Because
right?
it's their body, yes. I'm just right here. There is more inventory and detail in this one fucking page than there ever was in Chult. I don't know what any of the abbreviations will mean after this reading, because I'm going to forget what MDC is. Yeah, you say it's mega damage capacity, but I'm going to forget that. On the bright side, you know what this setting does that Derek doesn't? Uses a consistent currency. Credits. I know what a credit is. It's a unit of currency. I don't know the quality of life for it, but it tells you right there.
And Chult does not have the interesting image of, honestly, something that would not be out of place in Warhammer on page 47.
Ah, yes, the Ripper. Yes, chainswords.
It is a full conversion cyborg with a minigun and a
Chult was a perfect
two-handed
system
chainsword.
with no flaws. Well, yeah, because Derek expected you to use Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, or his Crimson Dragon Slayer book he shoved at the back. He kind of expected you to use both and neither.
And so the
This is
combat org stats, alignment any, your ME has to be 10 or higher, but not required. Race limitations, human DBs or mortals.
What's ME?
I don't remember. Something mental. Something mental.
Something mental something. Like
mental endurance?
Maybe. Like, that's the thing. He's got, like, a bunch of stats for basically everything.
The guy behind Amber was involved in this.
Yeah, like, here's why I say that Rifts is fun, is because it's like Rifts goes into the ridiculous without going into like it has like every element of things that should make it bad, but it just isn't.
It's coherent ridiculous.
Yes.
It's just it's lacking that kind of final, fine tuning touch, I think.
It has its own internal logic and it keeps to it. God bless it.
That's not a chainsword, that's an eviscerator. Look at the size. The skills, language, native language at 96%. That means there's a 4% chance your brain just goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
it does.
It's a percentile system, so
It is. So there's a lot of these weird things with rifts where it's like the percentile dice just don't make sense, but it's fun that way.
Like cyborgs naturally have a 20% capacity to any other language.
well, no, that's saying whatever the. I think there's a base stat. So it's like you might have, if you had a secondary language, it might be 50.
Most people have you construct the character before you select the class. This is the opposite.
Yeah.
It does. It's just showing you.
Start
The
with all
class
basic
skills.
stats. Piss, sped.
It does. Like it's just the way the book's laid out. It's showing you the classes, then how to make the class.
Which, in my opinion,
Which-
is the opposite way you're supposed to do it. But guess what? That means I could still probably make a class.
Though I do want to
Bionic
point this out
features and accessories that
yeah.
you can get.
with the skills. You have language, you have basic repair, you have pilot, you have weapon proficiency. Notice you don't have literacy.
Oh yeah, you don't need to know how to read.
Robots can't.
You are a
can't read.
robot. You don't need to read.
Which is something that I do think is interesting.
Beep
Is that
boop. Fuck you. I don't need book.
is that the way the classes are set up, they gear you towards a specific kind of character. And so if you actually want to be able to have a party that is going to be able to tackle anything, you want to have characters that are more proficient in one thing than another. You don't want to have an all cyborg group.
Yeah, you want to have a wild group. You want your glitter boy to have the weird tweaker that punches things out and all that other shit.
Though at the same time, you want to also make sure that you don't have like a guy with a stick and then a little
So
demigod.
here's something I'm already not a fan of. He's expecting you to buy other books to supplement this book.
Well, it's just saying for a much larger selection, but yeah.
Which I'm not the biggest fan of when people try that shit. The difference is that he actually gives you a decent collection of cybernetics, even with just this limited amount. It's not great. You could probably put it. Oh no, never mind. It keeps going. So it's actually even better than I was thinking. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it's just he's like, oh, and here's
Hey,
more.
remember
and
when
here's more that I did.
Remember when Derek only had 6 augmentation options and one of them was literally other?
In this case, you have a sensor hand, which can either detect heat. You could have one that detects motion, radiation, radar, gyro compass.
Crazies. I'm not
clock
crazy. I just
calendar.
have holes in my head.
That guy's a shining example of mental health.
They're trained warriors schooled in the art of combat and athletics. And they gain their abilities through little electronic implants in their head.
It originated in South America, where scientists were experimenting with new methods of curing mental disorders
You know,
caused by physical
ironically, I
damage.
could believe that because do you want to know where lobotomies came from? Portugal. The inventor of the lobotomy was from Portugal.
Oh, so
Yeah.
this is a Brazil. So makes sense. They're Brazilian. That's where the crazies came from.
So yeah, it rewrites their brain and they're kind of mentally ill. They can be considered crazy by just, basically you have to choose to become this.
And the project was renamed Mom Works, Mind Over Matter.
Wild, flamboyant, and jocular. Cross between Daffy Duck, a dramatic actor, swashbuckler, and Oh, fuck. It's an entire class of fish milks. That's
Depending on the
unfortunate.
mental illness you get, I believe. You can So it says here everything is fine initially, but as time goes on, they get more insane. At the second level of experience, you get a phobia. At a third level, an affective disorder. Fourth level, you roll random crazy insanities table. Sixth is obsession. Eighth is phobia. 10th is neuroses. 12th is psychosis. And then at 14th, you're just randomly insane. So yeah, you're powerful, but you start going a little kooky over time. So you don't start off as the fish milk.
You become the fish milk. Which, I mean, that's at least the reason for why you become that.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, Malkavians also are. My guess is it's up to the player, so my recommendation is screen people who want to play a crazy. Because
Crazy bioregeneration.
Yeah, well, it's also just it's very tempting for some awful players to,
Yeah, you get saving throw bonuses, you get enhanced healing, fire regeneration, minor psychics. Who wouldn't take this?
Oh, and there's the insanities,
Oh, we're all a little crazy, aren't we?
Popeye syndrome. Okay, I'm liking. I actually okay. I like the crazies class kind of. Oh wow, they definitely a lot of effort here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
again, as I said, he puts effort into everything.
Well, I mean,
Like, God bless
it's a
this man.
bit random, but like he then goes
That's
back. It feels like.
that's the point.
That's the thing about
Twinkies.
Rifts. It's,
Twinkies. There's a 3% chance if you get the Popeye syndrome that Twinkies and the rediscovered technology of Rift's Earth.
I'm just envisioning you get the wait, let me see. Do they have the hamburger one? Please have hamburger.
No, I think it's just one item. That's
Raw fish of any kind. Oh, they should have had chicken nuggets or something.
well, they do have chicken livers.
Okay, I mean, I think you can supplement the table too.
Oh, corn husks. Just the husks.
Yeah. I'm just moving on to Cyber Knight because I like the design of the crazies. Like it's really in detail. They go into details of each one. For example, oh, I just realized they have their own alignment chart.
yep,
Oh, that's cursed.
yep.
Good, unprincipled, anarchist, evil, and principled, huh?
Yeah, unprincipled, which is basically it's his version of saying neutral, I guess.
Scrupulous is the equivalent of lawful.
It's just kind of wild, you know.
I mean, this would get him. Oh, I just noticed one of the personalities is the opposite gender. That might get you canceled nowadays. Cyber Knights. These are your psychic fighting guys. Code of Chivalry. Actually, kind of like that. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, they're more knights than Jedi.
They gain psychic powers. They have a Psi sword, which is mega damage, of course.
Yep,
What is the size sword?
everything
Do
does
again?
fucking mega damage, man. Everything.
It's a sword you just mentally will into existence.
You can have 2 of them.
Yeah. He invented Darth Maul before Darth Maul.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think you can have a Psi battle axe. So
Now my question is, can I have a Psi Naginata?
probably. Actually, yeah, it says here Psi weapons are shaped something other than a sword. Use up to 1 melee action to create. So, yeah, it says a weapon other than a sword.
Okay, so I'll say this. The way he describes settings are some of the worst you can humanly do. But once you get into the character construction, while you have to automatically know what the little abbreviations mean, you can build something out of it and kind of go from there.
Yeah, as I said, like there's a lot of really neat stuff.
Yeah, you know, I'd say that Sambeat is like Lucas
Yeah.
in that he seems to really love character creation, and everything else might you could consider a side thing.
Should we continue after the Glitter Boy?
Did we get the juicer after the glitter boy?
Let's see.
And
I'm
you
not
get
gonna read
the no, we
seriously.
get that. We get the headhunter.
So don't get to the
We
juicer.
should talk about the juicer though.
The juicer is one of those iconic classes. Yeah.
Okay, so before let's just in short, Glitter Boy are basically the people from are basically the Brotherhood of Steel.
I mean they're just
They're
giant
power
armor
armor
guys,
wielders.
and they
Basically,
have
if
a
you want to make
railgun.
Seamus Aran from Metroid, Glitter Boy.
Well, I mean, except does Samus Aran have a railgun that literally shoots us at a speed of Mach 5?
Yes, because her plasma cannon and it can also phase through matter, ice, and other abilities.
So then, yes, this is the character you want to play if you want to play as Samus Aran. And I believe in the Quebec book, there is a glitter girl power armor.
Yep, Headhunter, which
Something.
in the name. They're interesting. It's just I feel okay. Here we go, juicers.
So this came from Eastern Europe,
Of course,
where
it
the
did.
rise of the super athlete and the ultra warrior became an issue of controversy. Synthetic hormones, steroids, EPO. Some chemical condition was too difficult to maintain unless the individual was carefully monitored. New designer drugs were combined with a computerized biological monitoring and drug dispensary system with incredible results. So you get this biocomp system that manages it, and you get an ejection collar that basically you have this whole thing that maintains your body and juices
It's
you up.
similar to there's a penal legion, if I recall, in 40k. It's called the Chem Dog.
This
They have
reminds me more of Bane, like the comic
Bane.
Bane.
Yeah,
where he's
Actually,
got the
this is
venom.
much. Yeah, Bane's actually a much
Yeah.
better example. Bane's
Is 10 times
spot on.
faster, stronger than your average human. You die in 5 years, though. The strain on the system is so terrible that the body literally burns out both internally and externally. The heart of a 20-year-old juicer can just explode one day. Chemicals have all side effects, making the blood too thick, too many, not enough rare white blood cells, muscle spasms, crumbling bones, deterioration of internal organs, destruction of the immune system, neurological disorders,
Yeah,
and
basically,
complete
you
and total
die.
drug dependency.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
die.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you
you're
die.
fucking dead. Yeah.
The coalition has outlawed it.
Let me
Except
repeat this: the most evil people in the setting have outlawed this.
Because
but they're bringing it back. They're
Yeah.
bringing it back because they need to fight the mages.
the organization is a stream of consciousness and less successful in duration of publishing. I wouldn't say it's completely stream of consciousness. There's kind of an attempt to divide and detail. It's just this is the dire need of an editor that's not the author. But the problem is, I think it went through editors, and the author insisted.
Here's something that I think there's a reason why the juicer is really good. You get an automatic dodge to all attacks. So if somebody's attacking you in melee, you just dodge it. You get one free automatic.
Magical, it goes even crazier because it's like, oh, magical death beam of area effect. I just dodge.
Yep. We should check out Nightbane. It's kind of their World of Darkness knockoff.
Yeah.
I mean, I could.
In a way. Actually, it is more like deviant.
The only if you're a juicer, your only hope is to try to clean yourself out of your drugs, but it only works for a year or two into the
Cannot
process.
sleep without a sedative or a tranquilizer. Tends to be a bit jumpy and anxious. Will die after 5 years and 46 months after being a chemically induced Superman.
Yep.
It says straight up, no magic restoration can help. Well, actually, no, it can.
Is this a
but
nod
it's at a
to
50%.
Here's my question: is this like a weird anti-drug thing that the author kind of has?
I think it's just a steroid thing.
I don't know.
I mean, it's reasonable. I mean, the whole point is you're essentially cooking yourself to death to gain these powers. So I'm not complaining.
I think that is the point. Something that I thought that came to me when I was like reading this is that in order to survive, I guess humanity has to change. You either become more of a machine. We saw with the crazies go insane. Either you become like a wizard, or you're a juicer. In which case, you are chemically enhanced, but you will die after a few years.
Basically,
Problem
the
is, though,
juicers they're not exactly, but they're kind of similar to the Thunder Warriors.
yes.
Yes.
And the other thing is also, as a character, if you're starting out at the beginning, I mean, unless you're playing in real time and you're somehow going to get to the stage where you get to need to detox, it doesn't matter. Which actually kind of probably is useful for character design, because Yeah, if you're the guy taking this, you don't care if you're going to live in 5 years.
Merc soldiers with actually, should I continue or should we hold off?
Well, we got juicers done, so I think we should probably stop because it has been some time.
Almost 2.5.
One last thing to leave off on. It says, page 81, related OCCs: Hyperion juicers, Titan juicers, Phaeton juicers, Mega juicers, Delphi juicers, Dragon juicers,
Dragon juicers.
Okay.
Bio Wizard juicers, the Euro juicer, and all these are found in the Juicer Uprising, except for the Euro. That's found in Triax and the NGR. But yeah, there's a lot of juicers. I think there's even a game, like a football game that that juicers play.
A lot of this stuff was written on Coke Bin just to get it done. Oh, it was
It
actually
feels like
written
it
by a
sometimes.
genuine Coke addict. That's neat.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's cool. That's actually that actually makes it a lot more sense.
I'm not sure if he's serious or not with that one, because I can see it. I can see it.
I can see it, especially because this, like, the symptoms they describe, like the heart explosion, genuine shit that can happen on cocaine.
Yeah.
Not the heart exploding, but like you're just cardiovascular, just fucking shits out.
Oh yeah, and actually with the detox, you must roll 2 out of 3 successes to purge, and then a failed roll will result either in you become addicted to other drugs, you become depressed, want to become a juicer again, and there's a 9% chance you will just kill yourself.
Yep.
Which, if this is the case, and
Oh yeah.
the guy who wrote the section was a drug addict,
I can
that
believe
speaks
it.
a lot.
I can believe it. So with that, I do want to do at least a part 2. I will say that it is interesting enough to do another part 2 of this. My biggest problem that I have with it is that it kind of suffers a little bit from, well, formatting errors.
Yeah, the author has a very definite vision for what he wants and he finds important, and sometimes that can cause structural issues to the way things are laid out.
Also, I will say the settings themselves sometimes are not as inspiring or creative as they could be. But
They're
this is
detailed,
coming.
though.
Well, this is coming from the point of view of a person, though. I've openly admit, like I've said it, I can come up with more off the wall insanity.
But there is something at least to appreciate in the fact that he said, yeah, we're going to talk about a Magic Kingdom's unemployment percentage.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's neat,
Like,
and it shows he does think about stuff. It's just, I think for the settings, it was mentioned by one of our reviewers, Ashen Spear. You want to probably look at the sub books for setting areas.
yes, the Rift subbooks I'd say is actually where this shines, because Rifts, if anything else, if nothing else, Rifts is probably the RPG system with the most splat books that I can think of off the top of my head.
Which I think is
I'm-
also a bit of a negative because it's kind of a pay to know sort of thing.
Well, I mean,
Yes
they're all
and no.
It's not
they're
a
all
big
their different
negative.
sections. Like, if you want to play for Russia,
Yeah, I know you
currently
can
there's only
plug
like
in.
3 you need. There's like, and then
I
again, if you
know
want to
it's
play only
just it's
specific.
just the way it feels like for certain areas you kind of need X or Y book because there's stuff there, but it's either at a bird's eye, which kind of ruins the take, or in some cases it's just dull. Like England is just uninspired. Poland is also equally uninspired. Come on, come on. No empty throne that always stays empty because no one in the royal parliament wants to elect a king. Imagine a Poland, which is a monarchy which refuses to elect a king. Because they
Yeah.
or
You know, it's
everyone's
also,
a noble. Everyone actually has a noble title, which is another
you know,
thing
something
from Poland.
I also realized he doesn't mention the Middle East.
That I think is a wise decision.
That is a very wise
The-
decision. I can't remember what the original Middle East was like in Rifts.
Hey, remember in Warhammer Fantasy when Araby worshipped the moon god?
Ooh, yeah.
What do they actually worship?
They actually, the very first edition of Warhammer Fantasy, they were worshippers of Allah, which I think they described as a slight chaos-infused moon god. Like it had a
This
taint of chaos, but it wasn't necessarily a
Well, I mean,
chaos god.
this is also the company that decided to make the pygmies, which just type that into the Warhammer wiki, have fun,
Yeah,
and made a parody of Buddhism that just was called the Orange Simca.
which is named after a type of soda. They also worshipped Vimdo.
They weren't really going in depth.
I just realized here's another reason why I think Rifts is somewhat inspiring. If you wanted to, here's one of the dumbest ideas I have come up with. And by dumbest, I mean this is just embarrassing. Okay. They're not a full on cyborg, but you have the Jax arms from Mortal Kombat. But imagine essentially you made a juicer version of Soda Popinski where they gain their power based on what soda they drink. Soda being a chemical cocktail that only they're able to survive drinking.
I'm just gonna check. I think that is one of the juicers.
Soda Popinski from Punch Out.
probably like again the thing is
Like-
that he just sees things he finds cool and he puts them in rifts. Like that's kind of half the fun is like,
I mean,
what
hey,
is this
he
guy
did come
find
up with the
cool?
cocaine soldiers. I brought that up, so he does at least sometimes touch my crazy.
Yeah, he does. It's just it goes also into a little more autistic crazy than you, where he goes into the here is the unemployment rate of this town that doesn't exist,
I
and
mean,
their
if
social
it's an
and
important
criminal
city,
issues.
you probably could get away with it. And Laszlo is an important city, so I'm not going
It
to
is.
critique him on it. I just
It
didn't
is, but
bring it
it's
up because if it's just an overview of the setting, I don't think you need to bring up the unemployment rate and crime statistics. If it's just an overview. Now, if it was a more detailed area like what he did with the Nazi Imperium of Men guys, yeah, that'd be where you put it. I think the biggest issue with Rifts is that the main book needs a little more splash of color, and it is a publisher formatting issue
Oh yeah, there's a
because
reason why
it,
everything looks like this. It's cheap to get the book. I think most splats are $20.
which hey, that's admirable, but it does make it somewhat dry. I will also say that in some cases you could maybe be a bit more inspired, and by that I mean stop taking your antipsychotic medicine and just shit out whatever subconscious thoughts you
please
have.
don't tell him to do that. Please don't.
Don't? Okay, fair.
Like if he's on something, please stay on it.
Yeah,
I
actually stay
wanna know
on
what
it.
he's.
Yeah. If you do take medicine, yeah, stay on it. Or alternatively, think of the dumbest thing you can think of and then try to make it work. Which he might have actually done.
Actually, Adam, you were talking about the guy with the uh juicer that would be able to drink a soda.
No, powered by soda.
Soda. I mean, technically, I'm looking over here. The dragon juicer is, but they're powered by dragon's blood.
Okay,
They
but
juice dragons.
so
They
here's what you
just
do. You juice a dragon,
dragons
but
do it.
then you flavor it with packets, which
Actually,
are a
yes.
combination of uppers, downers, and citrus and or cola flavors that you then chug after carbonating it in the equivalent of a soda stream. I have destroyed them. It feels wonderful.
No, I'm just reading about the dragon juicer
Fair enough.
and the
Like
fact
I
that it.
said, I was dinging it left and right, but it's not in the serious, oh, it's shit kind of way. It's almost admirable, and
It's like you want it to be more insane than it is.
well, that's because it had a reputation. People kept building it up, and I'm like, oh wow, this is just me whenever I choose to not try to keep my worst ideas under lock and key. Let's see.
I mean,
What are
thing,
some
and
other glorious concepts besides a king,
I mean,
a king with no crown because they refuse to elect one? Soylent Green, but with babies, because of course. Let's see. People keep doing Native Americans as like the internal we're at peace with nature kind of thing. How about you don't? How about you make them runners like the equivalent of oligarchs, where they're powered by casino powers. Like they gain the
Okay,
power
hold
over
on.
they
Hold
gain
on.
power over luck magic, and they also use gold to burn as their reagent.
yeah, I think you could do that.
No, but like that's how you do the Native Americans instead.
I'm a little bit hesitant on that one.
What?
The idea of using casinos as magical focuses for Native Americans.
And they have powerful luck magic.
I mean, there is luck magic in the game, so
Yeah.
Like instead of going with the standard, oh yes, they're the wise native Kemosabe. No, you lean hard into like they have that, and you also and their version of juicers are powered by alcoholism.
okay,
Oh
that
God. Like
that
Adam, we need to tone down a little bit here. Hold on.
I'm too crazy for rifts, guys.
I wouldn't call this crazy. I'd call this something else.
Oh, offensive? Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, that's a
there's
little. That's
Understandable. The casino one
there's
at
a
least was
different
fine.
there's a different RPG.
Oh
You
yeah,
wanna
racial
use
holy
that?
war. I'm sorry about
yeah.
that.
There's a different art. There's a bit of a different RPG that's about.
Didn't mean to lean too hard into the stereotypes on that
Yeah,
one.
because I was about to say yeah, it's
That was sorry. I genuinely am sorry for
yeah.
that. Okay. Other ways you can do it. How about urban hunter Native American rather than the ones who wander the plain?
Actually, that's not uncommon for a lot of these sort of settings.
Okay, rebuttal. How about you do the Spartans at Thermopylae version of Native, like with the Chickasaw or something?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
King Philip's
where
War
they
shit.
erased from childhood to be the ultimate super soldiers, like the equivalent of Spartans from Halo.
I'd more go for the King Philip's Wars shit, where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna death war these motherfuckers.
All right.
It's on.
Oh, I
just
have
had
a dumb idea for a Rifts thing. How about magic that's powered by political corruption, where you get power through embezzlement?
Actually, no, that wouldn't work in the setting. It's powered by life force. So unless your political corruption involves stabbing people.
Okay.
Well,
I mean
well,
that's
wait,
basically as technology though from Shadowrun.
yeah, that was what to say. Like that sounds a lot like as technology.
Yeah.
I had a cursed idea.
Yeah, Jim. I kind of pulled an Africa tier. That was me pulling a creator with Africa. I am honestly sorry about this.
It's a yeah.
It didn't strike me until you fucking told me how awful that was.
Here's mine that might be this. You know the Orthodox Jewish communities that live in New York? Have them have some sort of syncretic faith with the local Native Americans instead of, 300 years later.
Juicer, it's not juicer powered by alcoholism level awful.
Well,
I mean,
in this
a
case,
juicer powered by alcoholism is a very valid idea, but it would be like I wouldn't make them the fucking Native Americans.
Fair.
Well,
Like,
I mean, in this
on.
case, they team up with the Native Americans that have the casinos because their juices are powered by money.
Okay, you're getting close to mine. You're not quite there. You didn't quite cross the line yet. Now, if they did blood sacrifices using chickens or something, you might get somewhere. You might get somewhere. The Amish are powered by animal cruelty via puppy mills.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
See, the way I see it, I think Rifts is just kind of if you let your ideas unchain, sometimes you get duds, but then you get the ideas like, well, no, that's still a terrible idea.
That's still a fucking terrible idea. It's funny in a dark humor way, but it's still
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
I
Like-
like your I guess it'd
Casino
be like
Indian money. Yeah, that's actually
no.
clever.
I was thinking this Polish cyber knights.
Polish cyber knights that violently reject ever having a king, and they all are nobles, even like the poorest shit peasant.
Well, no, I'm thinking they use their psychic powers to have their horses actually fly.
Yes,
Yes.
wing
All right.
hussars.
Actual
as-
hussars. I think
As they use their psi lances to run through a bunch of cyborg demons.
yeah. I think we could probably call it here though. It's
Oh, Squirrel Killer, don't do the juicer soldier that I. No, that was.
no.
If you're gonna be that way, use them as the casino power magic through wealth thing.
Like you
I-
have, at that point, you're trying to take a refuge in fucking audacity there.
I think Ash has the correct one. The booze juicer is clearly Irish.
No, it's Irish, Russian. It's half of Europe, man.
It's most of the world, honestly.
Yeah. No, I managed to restrain that idea.
I've got a dip pretty soon because it is.
Let's call it before we do anything even.
Let's call it
more.
before we really get into trouble with YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
Native Americans aren't associated with casinos in Canada, huh?
Because I just realized something that popped in my head, and I'm afraid of developing it. African juicer.
Powered by poaching.
I don't know. I don't want to figure out what it is. It just came into my head, and I don't want to think more about it.
They do lines of brown.
No, I mean, like when I'm thinking like that sort of juicer, it'd be like the Chinese natural medicine juicer, where it's like, oh yeah, I just need to kill
they
this rare
chug
thing and
mercury.
snort it. Yeah, like they snort mercury. They it's like we got a rhino, like a fucking rhino horn or whatever the hell else, and that's your superpower status. Like it's all based on like weird Chinese alchemy shit. Like
and it works through pure belief. It also kills them.
Literally. Yeah, it's literally you are fucking poisoning yourself, but you've unleashed your psychic potential or something like that. But you're gonna fucking die because even though you're now a psychic super being, you're still drinking fucking mercury.
Ooh, I have a good one. Russian Cyber Knight Order, who gains their psi strength through the power of depression.
Oh, so it's OP at that point.
Time to abort the id one. And that's one of the reasons why you probably shouldn't touch rifts. It's the gateway to the worst parts of your mind.
We here again, as we will say though, again, if there's someone that you know that wants to run rifts for you, please refer them to psychiatric care. No, seriously though, like it's a fun setting and a fun.
It is an interesting setting. It has a lot of creativity.
Yeah, like I
don't let your id one run wild.
Yeah, like this is a game that there's a reason why all these years later there are still people that play it and follow it and are very big fans of it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and again, it's not really 100% mine.
It starts dry. It starts dry. It has weird little side tangents. It expects you to kind of know already, which I think are faults. But it is mechanically sound, and there is a lot of detailing in it.
There is a lot.
People who ask to play rifts are bad people in my experience. Squirrel Killer, that is spot on.
Yeah.
Look at what just talking about rifts has activated in all of our brains.
Yeah.
That's a sign that we should probably head off. Redevelop the little walls in our head that, has that little gremlin go, say the horrible thing.
This is probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
like,
Jeremy was saying, what about savage rifts? I actually haven't through it, but that'd be interesting to compare.
Yeah, like that's the thing with that, where it's like, isn't that the only system he's approved a port of for Rifts?
Yes, Savage Worlds is, and also I don't know anything about it. I just know it uses the same system.
Yeah, it uses like a similar system. So I think it's a similar system. It's just not well.
Well, of course,
Rift
Savage Worlds is a
mechanic.
lot saner.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rift systems are a little wacky. Um, it's there's some stuff in here where you're like, oh, that's how that works. But why? You know?
So yeah, as for what we're going to cover next week, probably not Rifts because yeah, we kind of need a bit of a break from that.
We could do that Warhammer thing. We might do more World of Darkness. I mean,
I'm thinking either Renegade Crowns, more of Eclipse Phase, or a little bit more of either Requiem for Rome, or actually touching Dark Eras again.
yeah, because I think the one that's up next for Dark Eras, if I'm looking at this correctly, is in fact the Dust Bowl Promethean.
Which I would find very interesting.
Yeah. And then after that one, it would be everyone's favorite one that we don't know why they put it in the book, which is the 1950s New Zealand. But
so yeah, next week it's probably either going to be either Renegade Crowns. Actually, we do have the Discord. I probably will hold a little bit of a poll for that sometime, not this weekend, but a little bit earlier in the week.
oh right, we also have to do our Earth Day special.
So, which horrible werewolf book would we do?
I would be thinking we'd actually cover a character for that, which would be everyone's favorite crossover badass, which is Sam Height.
I don't know who that is.
They can't keep getting away with it.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Oh.
Unironically, he can't keep getting away with it.
I need to start. No. I'm going to end it now because I almost made a joke that I should not have.